Well. The Royal
Oh,
Rumble.
we we're
I
sorry.
appreciate everybody being so damn patient with us. But you know what? Real life gets in the way. I was actually, believe it or not, out of town doing a family thing on the day of the Royal Rumble. So I didn't even see it live. And it was
I
airing like at 10 in the morning or something.
I didn't either. I just had other stuff going on too, and it sucked. But I was able to stay off my phone, wait until my commitment was done at the end of the night, and I stayed up till 3 in the morning watching this goddamn pay-per-view. And when it was all said and done, believe it or not, I have two friends that are willing to stay up till 3 a.m. and watch pay-per-views with me. And we were
Wow.
so dead tired by the end of it that we all kind of looked at each other at the end of the show and went, was this show really worth staying up till 3 a.m. for? In some
Probably.
ways, yes. Some ways, no.
It could
I
be.
have a lot of mixed feelings about this year's Royal Rumble. And, maybe it's a good thing we let this kind of like stew and simmer the past couple of weeks. And with the
Yeah.
current trajectory of where we're going, this has the potential to be a fun WrestleMania season. But if anything, if this Royal Rumble proved anything to me, it's that WWE has no long term plans right now. And they are not prioritizing making new stars. And that's going to be a huge topic of discussion with this review.
A Ironic because one of their world champions is CM Punk, somebody who was so critical of that. Um, and he's main eventing against somebody at WrestleMania that we will certainly discuss as we trudge through this card, which took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Yes, this is the aforementioned Riyadh Rumble. Um,
This was rough, man. This
it,
was so fucking rough from all angles, from the time that it aired,
couldn't air it
watching the
in
show,
couldn't air it in Berlin, couldn't air it in Paris, couldn't air it in London, couldn't air it
the
in Toronto. There's a lot of other places you could have gone other than Saudi Arabia, all due respect.
the
But like
aesthetic of this show was fucking puke inducing, and we are going to talk about that as the
I
show begins. It was
they
rough, man.
actually built a stadium from the ground up like 3 weeks before the Rumble actually aired.
It,
And then this custom stage that they have is really nice. I will give them credit that it is a custom set design. So you should do that with every pay-per-view,
I
not
mean,
just the ones you deem more important.
as impressive as that was, the two questions I had that really raised my eyebrows were, what's the stability of this place? Did it check everything, inspection wise? If I sit in my seat, is the whole goddamn stadium going to collapse? And if I go take a shit, if I flush the
Where's the
toilet, am I
bathroom?
going to back up the whole stadium?
Where are the
Like,
bathrooms?
you have to take everything into consideration when it comes to making a stadium. You have to pass inspections so it's safe. There's electrical stuff, there's plumbing, there's vendor licenses and food selling licenses, and so much that goes into making a stadium flow. Who the fuck
Jeez.
wakes up one morning and says, "Oh, we don't have a place in this location for our pay-per-view. Let's build a fucking..." And imagine how much fucking money they had to spend just for a pop-up stadium. That's insane.
Man, so now you know where your ticket prices are going towards, WWE
The,
fans.
the waste of money. There was just so much. Like, the more I think about it, the execution of this Rumble was just fucking terrible.
It it
It
really
didn't have to
was.
be this way. It
It
did
didn't,
not have to fucking be this way.
it also didn't have to be in Saudi Arabia, just like WrestleMania doesn't have to be in Saudi Arabia next year. I mean, again, I'm still like livid for the British fan base that has been so loyal for so long, and yet Saudi Arabia gets a WrestleMania before them. But
I
that
mean,
is
I this is ironic that I'm going to quote this man, but in the words of Vince McMahon, it's all about the money. And that's what it
unfortunately.
boils down to with WWE and TKO and Triple H and Nick Khan. It's all about the money. They don't care about your fan loyalty. They don't care about uh, fan feedback. They just care about the money.
and
It's the reason
stroking
why
and stroking
WrestleMania got booted out of New Orleans this year, because
yeah,
the Las
because
Vegas fronted up more money to have them run it there 2 years in a row.
back to
And
back.
next, yeah, and I know we're getting really ahead of ourselves, but I've heard a lot of our friends on these platforms like Greg and Solomon bring up the same thing. Next year, you look at what the format is for WrestleMania. It's not just about WWE. It's not just about WrestleMania. It's about every single wrestling promotion. It's a whole week festival of like celebrating pro wrestling. You know, there's independent shows, there's Ring of Honor shows, there's AEW shows. There's so much going on because the pro
I
wrestling business
guarantee
thrives.
you, guarantee you, none of those promotions go to Saudi Arabia.
Well, they
Guarantee you,
can't, even if they fucking wanted to. Like, this is not a
guarantee
smart
you.
business decision. And how is that going to affect all these independent shows? How is it going to affect AEW and Ring of Honor, TNA, WrestleCon, all of these, there's podcasts and panels and conventions, everything, not only does the city thrive, like the pro wrestling business thrives because, all these independent workers can be like, oh, New Orleans? Hell yeah, I'm going to book a ticket to New Orleans, set up my stand, make a bunch of money meeting fans and taking photos and selling my merch and getting my name out there. Wrestlers are getting booked. We met John Morrison the year that we went, and the motherfucker had wrestled like 5 times prior to us meeting him because there's so
Yeah.
many independent shows going on. Like, I feel bad for the business as a whole when it comes to the format next year because Saudi Arabia is not a logical destination for independent wrestling.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Sorry, I'm just like reliving that John Morrison interaction that we had a couple of years ago in our head. Did you win? Yeah. Wait. Yes. Yes. No. Yes.
And now I'm just thinking, like, God damn, it's Saturday. No, it was Friday. Yeah, it was
It
Friday.
was that
Like, you
Friday.
wrestled 4 times before this. Like I remember, and I know we're going off a tangent, but goddamn, I want to talk about something enjoyable. I
Yeah.
remember the weekend we were there because Brian Zane was promoting it. They were running a wrestling show at a temple, at a Jewish
Yes.
church, the morning of night 2 of WrestleMania. And I thought about it for like 2 seconds, going, what if I just got up that morning and fucking went? How that would be a random like just core memory for me. Like, hey, remember when I woke up Sunday morning and went to a temple to watch a pro wrestling show? Like they wrestled in the front yard. It's just like independent wrestling thrives at WrestleMania weekend. It's a damn
Yes.
shame. I'm not looking forward to. I mean, there's a silver lining. I've heard people like Greg mention why don't AEW and New Japan Pro and CMLL and a few other independent promotions like put on a fucking super show the week of Mania and be like,
Yeah.
you can't go to Saudi Arabia. Why don't we book a really hot town like New Orleans or Chicago or New York and just have a super show like the night before night 1 of Mania?
Why not?
Because no one's going to be able to fucking go to the Hall of Fame. No one's going to be able to fucking go to Raw and SmackDown. So there's pro wrestling here in the States. It ain't going anywhere.
If again, I don't want to open up this can of worms too much because we still have two fucking Royal Rumble matches to talk about and we could be here all night. But like, eh, last thing I'll say on this matter, if they wait to induct John Cena into the Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia, then I'll be really fucking pissed. Like, because that is one thing and one Hall of Fame induction that I would love to be at. And you're basically shitting on everybody who grew up with him. And you're like, oh, you can't see him. You can't go see him get inducted. Fuck off. Seriously,
It's just
fuck
it.
off.
The current landscape of pro wrestling is insane. If you would have told me this would have been the case 10 years ago, my jaw would be on the floor. And hell, it is right now.
Yeah,
But
but
with that
anywho,
being said, we do have a Royal Rumble pay per view to talk about.
which wasn't
Overall, I
oddly, it
did
wasn't
enjoy
a
it.
bad. It wasn't a bad show.
It wasn't a bad show.
That's
There
the
was just a
amazing
lot about it
thing.
that like pissed me off. Like it could have been executed better, but we had a really good women's Rumble match. Yes, I said that. A very good Rumble match for the women because I enjoyed it a lot. And we had an all right men's Rumble. Like people complained about the quote unquote surprises that we got, like they were waste of entries. And I had fun watching it. But just near the end of it, it was just like when all 30 men entered, I'd watch the field and I go, I'm not excited for any of these guys to win. There's no X factor. There's no, well, I sure hope this person pulls off the upset. It was just so predictable and by the numbers. And then the two undercard matches. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to defend Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. I thought they had a solid match.
They
Nowhere
did.
near as good as the Styles Gunther match, but I'm hearing people say that was a fucking waste of a title match. And I don't think
No, it
so.
wasn't. It
I
was
thought it
not.
was perfectly fine.
It was not, and we'll get into that when we get into that. But um, I think we should just dig right in. January 31st, Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 2026. We do kick off with the Women's Royal Rumble match,
You're
and
not gonna let me talk about the thing that I want to talk about just real quick, like in one
what,
minute
Gunther and
max.
Styles? We got like a
No, I want to talk about the fact that they had two dark matches on this show and they
oh
didn't even bother
God,
putting them on the pre-show, which was 2 fucking hours long. Just real quick, because
yeah.
you have a 2 hour pre-show and you're not going to bother. We complain about AEW 0 hour being like 5 matches in 1 hour, which is insane. WWE has a 2 hour pre-show and they have nothing on there. It should be the other way around.
It's literally nothing. Like you have like what do you have? Like two
So,
random trios tag matches?
well, these are two matches that I wouldn't mind having on TV to kill the fucking time. Like, talk shit all you want about what was that one year, that one SummerSlam where the Hardy Boys wrestled the B team, and there were no, it was the Hardy Boys and Jason Jordan versus the Miz and the B team, and the stadium was like a quarter full because they had trouble getting people through the gates. Like, I
Oh
don't give a
God, I
fuck if the
forgot about
audience isn't
that.
filled. Here we have
I
the Wyatt
forgot
Six
about
defeating
that.
the MFT in a tag team match, and we have the Motor City Machine Guns and Shinsuke Nakamura defeating the New Day and Grayson Waller. You heard that right. The Machine Guns team with Nakamura, and it was a fucking dark match. What the fuck?
Like that sounds awesome. Seriously,
Yes,
sign me up for that.
you could have called
Like
them like machine gun style or something really fucking cool. We wouldn't have known.
a samurai gun style. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like this is a house show match that I would gladly pay money to go watch.
I absolutely would. What would you call New Day and Grayson Waller as a trio?
Aussie Day, the new Aussies. Uh,
The Australian pancakes. There we go. The Australian
I
pancakes.
uh, why does that remind me of
He didn't like that
Rhea
one.
Ripley was being interviewed and somebody asked her about Vegemite. And they're like, why does everyone say Vegemite's nasty? And she goes, no, you need to listen to me. You don't just slather the whole thing on your sandwich. You're supposed to use like a tiny morsel of it. That's why it's disgusting because you're eating it by the spoonful and that's not how you eat it.
I would like Rhea Ripley to explain Australian food culture to me and Lindsay for sure. But anyway, we have the Women's Royal Rumble match. Rhea Ripley is one of 30 competitors. And Mark Nash basically explains that you have 30 minutes to get as many pinfalls as you can. That's how a Royal Rumble works, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Royal Rumble Iron Man match sounds insane. By the way,
That sounds like it would take
uh,
all night to get
real
through.
quick, before we get into the first two entrants, I heard a lot of people giving Mark Nash a lot of shit on this show
He was
and
great.
saying, I was gonna say, like, people were saying he's not that good of a ring announcer. He tries too hard. I'm like, I like it when ring announcers are passionate in their voice. It
Hmm.
gets me excited for the match. And as we'll talk about later on in the show, I guess he forgot what championship he was announcing because he had to look at his food card. So fucking what, guys? Like, you
So
guys
what?
nitpick the weirdest things. And I'm just gonna say, you're not getting paid six figures to announce at the biggest wrestling shows. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, I
So
don't get it. I really don't get it.
number one and number two come out, and it's best friends Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And as soon as Charlotte came out, I'm like, she's lasting an hour. Her last name is Flair, so they're gonna have her run the gauntlet, which is Tomas's favorite thing in the Royal Rumble.
I
Apparently, is when
fucking
people
love that shit.
last from number one all the way to the very end. But
And I know
you see it every year, though.
AJ
Every year.
Styles, AJ Styles did it a couple years ago, and I love the nod. Charlotte Flair did the same thing. She came out wearing a cowboy hat, and that was tribute to Shawn Michaels, the greatest Iron Man in Royal Rumble
Oh,
history.
that's what it was. Yeah, no, AJ actually did the Sean pose when he came
I
out. I wanted
love that
Charlotte to
shit.
do that. I wanted Charlotte to do that. But you also see this trope in the Rumble all the time where you have tag team partners starting the match off and they're like, will they, won't they? Will they, won't they fight? But it's every woman for themselves at this point. Uh, Charlotte and Alexa get in there and they tease a couple of spots, but it turns out Alexa jumps like and wraps her legs around Charlotte and they have a friend hug and they wait for the next entrant to come out.
Which,
But
believe it or not, I agree with. You're in there for the long run. Why are you going to try and eliminate your friend right away? Work together, get to
yeah,
the end, and then y'all can fight.
form
So
an
I thought that was a
alliance.
smart strategy on there. And next up, we have Kiana James, who actually got a really good reception in Riyadh. Talk about somebody who I saw potential in a couple years ago, but then she got injured. Now she's on SmackDown doing a manager bit with Julia, but they're letting her get back in the ring. And I think she's a solid hand. I think
Yeah,
she's somebody, if you gave more ring time to, she could be a player. A big player, I don't know, but I like her. She has a
yeah,
good look. She's yoked out of her mind, which is fucking awesome. And she got a really good reception here in Saudi Arabia, which I was shocked about. And that
yeah.
brings me to this. The aesthetic of this pay-per-view was fucking ugly. I don't know whose decision this was,
With the
but on
green and yellow colors.
every single seat had this LED light on it
Oh, that's
to
what
the
you're.
point where you couldn't see anybody in the audience. And I don't know what the attendance number was for the show was. I'm
Let me look it
assuming
up.
it was very poor because if you notice, WWE did not announce the attendance for the show. And
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it
the
up real quick
way
while you keep
these
talking.
LED lights were lighting up the stadium, it looked like the stadium was like three-quarters empty. And it
It,
was ugly to look at. It was a fucking eye strain.
apparently the attendance was 25,000, but
That's
it looks more like the Thunderdome to me.
that's pathetic, man. That's fucking pathetic.
It looked like the Thunderdome. Well,
It,
probably because a lot of the Saudis even were priced out. So
and you know
that's
what?
probably
I'm gonna
why.
say this now. I sure fucking hope uh WWE lost money on this. I really fucking hope they did.
I hope they learned their lesson. I hope they learned a
This
hard lesson. So,
has to be the lowest attendance Royal Rumble since they started going to stadiums in what 2019.
yep,
That's fucking
easy,
pathetic. Your
easy.
market is in the US, your market is in Canada. Hell, your market's in Mexico and the UK. What the
Yeah,
fuck,
they
WWE?
the attendance for WrestleMania 43 is not going to be very good. I'll tell you that much.
It's
But
not. I mean, last year's attendance suffered because of the price hike. Our
yeah,
Mania we went to had 80,000 people. Last year's Mania had like 60,000 one night, 50,000 the other.
yeah.
That's a significant decrease. So I just had to point that out. It was
Mhm.
fucking ugly. Halfway through the show, thankfully they turned them off.
Yeah.
But you're right, it reminded me of the Thunderdome, and that's not something you want to be reminded of.
It's not something you want to remember. Number four, which is the number worn by punter Michael Dixon of the world champion Seattle Seahawks, by the
Hey,
way.
how about you shut your mouth and talk about the Royal Rumble?
Number four is Nia Jax. This terrified me because I'm like, do I have to watch this woman wrestle for an hour? And
You
she
know
is
what?
horrible.
The
Like,
fact that she still makes people anxious when she enters just shows she's good at getting heat. They have
well,
toned down on Nia Jax significantly, and we may talk a lot about this during the Rumble because we don't have a lot of time to talk about the majority of the roster because they're not featured on the pay-per-views. Nia
nope.
Jax has been teaming with Lash Legend, and this Friday they
Who?
have a WWE Tag Team title shot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure they do. Yeah, she's had like three tag team partners like in the span of like 6 months. It's
Yeah,
like,
and ironically, the most successful one was with Shayna Baszler like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
and I fucking forgot about that team. I
Yeah,
fucking forgot about that team.
yeah.
Number
Sorry, I
five.
didn't mean to remind you of that. I didn't want to
No,
remember it either.
that's okay. Number five is Ivy Nile, and the fans are chanting "You suck" for the American Made song, which always makes me laugh because it's like the
And
joke. The joke is that this is legitimately like another team angle, and they actually put that in their music. The "You suck" opportunities for the chants, and I'm like, yes, very good.
here's the thing, though. When's the last time we heard that theme song on television? Because they are not pushing American Made like Team Angle, and it's a damn shame.
They're not
The
pushing
Creed
it well
brothers,
because number one, Chad Gable's been injured, and he's also been under a mask for a good chunk of the last year. So
like, could you imagine if they did it to Kurt Angle?
put Kurt Angle. Imagine if Kurt Angle was Mr. America and not Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but
Man,
the Creed brothers were in a triple threat tag team a couple weeks ago to determine the number one contenders for the World Tag Team titles. So I think it was Solo
that's
Monster
cool.
had pointed out they had not been on television since July.
Wow.
That's fucking atrocious.
Poor Creed brothers. Yeah, just because Chad Gable is wrestling under a mask does not mean that you put his disciples like in pretty much the equivalent of
Purgatory.
velocity purgatory, you know? Like
Yeah,
if they were in the ruthless aggression era, they would be staples on velocity. Like
yeah.
that's how low on the card they are. Number
Number
seven or
six.
six, sorry, I
Yeah, number
skipped one.
six is our first NXT entrant, Lola Vice, who also got a nice pop. For those who follow NXT, she is
I wonder
very
why.
good. She is a mixed martial artist. She has kind of taken on this persona of like a MMA fighter. I think she did a fight pit match with, I think, Shayna Baszler before she got released, and it was actually
Yes.
really good. She's another one. Like, bring her up to the main roster, and she could make some noise. She could be like that scrappy underdog that everyone cheers for.
And so put her on SmackDown with her boyfriend Damian Priest, and everybody will be happy. So, number 7 is Candice LeRae. She is another one who does not wrestle on TV much, and someone who is severely underrated on this roster.
Um, this kind of shocked me because I think she's semi-retired. I heard her story recently that she's actually transitioning to being a producer, which is really freaking cool. And I'm not going to say like, oh, that's what a waste of talent. I think LeRae is kind of looking at the writing on the wall and saying, I'm, which is a shame that I'm even saying this. She's never going to be the WWE Women's Champion, so she might as
which
well preserve
sucks.
her legacy
Which
and pass
sucks.
down knowledge. Yeah, exactly. And pass down knowledge now and like, I don't know, secure herself a good career for her children.
Yeah, yeah, set up a future for Quill. Yeah,
It's just a
definitely.
damn shame. You know,
So,
here is this woman who famously, two things I will always remember Candice LeRae for: taking a super kick with a mouthful of thumbtacks from the Young Bucks and taking the gnarliest lumbar check from Cedric Alexander ever. And she is a wallflower on SmackDown.
I'll tell you what, if Tony Khan gets his hands on Candice LeRae, he'll know what to do with her for
She's one of the
sure.
only wrestlers I want to see in death matches.
Could you imagine her and Johnny Gargano teaming up against the Bucks?
Oh,
Like,
there's got to be a wrestling company out there that isn't pussy and will do intergender matches.
yeah, there's got to be a wrestling company out there, like kind of like the one that just signed Tommaso Ciampa, and
I don't even think AEW does intergender. Like the closest thing is TNA, ironically, but who knows? Under WWE's umbrella, they're probably being told, nope, can't do intergender
who
anymore,
knows?
which
So,
I know she has shit attached to her name, but remember 6 years ago, they were going to put the world championship on Tessa Blanchard. No other wrestling company was doing that. Just
right.
saying, it's pretty fucking cool.
So,
Anywho, speaking of TNA, our next entrant is Jordan Grace, who has
yes,
been brought up to the main roster, and I'm already nervous for what they're doing with her.
in
She has a
comes
women's championship match, but when she loses, what do you do with her after that?
it's a Tony Khan syndrome right there. But she goes into the ring, and it's time for a bunch of people to get tossed out because nobody has. And pretty much everybody does, except for your first two entrants, Nia Jax and Kiana James. Jordan Grace is in there somewhere. But the key part is Charlotte Flair. Alexa is trying to like head scissor Nia over the top, and Charlotte helps Alexa eliminate Nia, but in doing so, she also tosses out her friend.
Oh
Drama.
no.
Oh no, it's every woman for herself in the Royal Rumble. Who would
We
have
will be
thunk it?
saying that later on in the match too. And jumping ahead. I'm looking at this now. Good for Kiana James. She lasted 27 minutes, which is very solid. Like
Yes,
I hope Triple H has an eye on her. Like she's like I love those,
I'm sure he
I
does.
like those hard workers, you know what I mean? Like the workhorses that could
Hmm.
kind of like get themselves sort of over. Like Kiana James, I see that. The gimmick, not gonna lie, it's kind of lame. The businesswoman, the female entrepreneur, like, but in a sea full of wrestlers, you got to have some gimmicks in there, I guess.
You got to get a gimmick. It's the gypsy mantra. So
Yeah, not everybody can just be the wrestler. You
otherwise
know,
known as Katsuyori Shibata is the wrestler. So I think he would
that's when I
like to have a
realized,
conversation with you.
you
So
know, you need a healthy balance of gimmicks and just pure fucking wrestlers.
yes.
Next up is Becky Lynch, the women's intercontinental champion, who recently has been playing hot potato with that title with Maxine Dupree. And I don't know. I know I'm in the minority. I enjoyed those series of matches. I love Maxine Dupree. It was really cool to see a Sacktown girl get her moment in the sunlight. I don't know. I feel like the wrestling community is just full of nihilists. And were they 5-star matches? No, but I enjoyed seeing Dupree work. Like I was chatting with a couple of friends during the Rumble, and they were just saying like, look how much she's improved. And it's like, yeah, because she's in there working with people like Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch insisted on putting her over. Becky Lynch is thinking about the future. because I was watching Unreal season 2 episode 1. Didn't mean to go that whole title, but Becky Lynch said when she came back at WrestleMania last year, this is her last contract. We don't know how much longer we're gonna have Becky Lynch. You got to start investing in the future now, WWE.
Yeah,
We lost Cena.
before she becomes a full-time mom herself, you know?
Spoiler alert: we lost Styles. We're about to lose Becky Lynch. Rey Mysterio doesn't have much time left on the clock. There's a lot of wrestlers thinking about wrapping it up. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do when they're all gone? Look at
Speaking,
AEW. They lost Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay for like 3 months. They struggled because they didn't have anybody on deck.
yeah, yeah, because that kind of thing happens. Build up your future. That's
Mm-hmm.
all we got to say. And I'll get to that in a second, but Becky does square up against Charlotte Flair because of course she does. If those two are in the ring in a rumble, they have to have some sort of stare down because they're two of the four horsewomen. But speaking of investing in the future, number 10 is Sol Ruka.
Oh,
This woman, this woman will be a world champion in WWE one day. Mark my damn words. This woman is walking money. I think I said that in the Saturday Night's Main Event pod when I talked about her against Bayley. And it didn't click for me in my head until Michael Cole made this analogy, but Sol Ruka is basic. Sol Ruka reminds him of Lita,
yeah.
in terms of her athleticism. Like Sol Ruka does a lot more flips than Lita does, and I think Sol Ruka, like all due respect, I would trust Sol Ruka much more with a moonsault than Lita. For sure, because
So
sometimes Lita would come down with that moonsault and like she would land with her knees like square on the chest, square on the
yeah.
sternum, and it would knock the wind out of you. Sol Ruka will land consistently every time in the right spot. Um,
So here's
so
the thing about Sol Ruka, which is really fucking cool. When I watch wrestling with people that may watch a little more casually or never watched before, and this happened at Saturday Night's Main Event when my buddy's girlfriend joined us for John Cena's last match, and I love explaining wrestling to new people. And here's the thing with Sol Ruka, I noticed both times. I can tell everybody that's a great wrestler. That's a great wrestler. But with Sol Ruka, I can say she's amazing. Wait till she hits her finisher. It's going to leave you in shock and awe. And when Sol Ruka hit that first Soul Snatcher, we all leapt out of our seats. And I go, that right there, that's what's going to make this girl a star. Because the Soul Snatcher, I'm going to say right now, is the coolest fucking finisher in pro wrestling right now.
yes, and no other finisher comes close to that. It's so
It's
damn
a
good.
backflip into a fucking RKO.
Yes,
It's honestly the only thing that could probably compete with it is Athena's Eclipse.
it
And I love the
it's
Eclipse.
it's better than the Eclipse. I said it.
Oh,
It is
fair.
better. It
Very
is
fair.
better than the Eclipse. Um, just I don't know, man. I think she has one of the brightest futures in the women's division, if not the brightest future.
And
Um,
look at what she's been doing so much on NXT that it's hard to keep track of. She was a former NXT North American Women's Champion. She held that championship the same time she was holding the Speed Championship. I think she was one half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions with Zarya, which they're having a little. You can tell Sol Ruka's they're thinking about bringing her up because she's starting to have tension with Zarya and on NXT. I hope they do it. It looks like they're kind of setting her up to win the NXT Women's Championship, which I
good,
am all for.
good. Yeah, do it. Pull the
I
trigger while the
man,
iron is hot.
I just
Um,
realized this, and this is kind of unfortunate. Right now, as we speak, Sol Ruka has a brighter future than Blake Monroe, aka Mariah May, right now.
I don't know about that, man. I think it's too soon to say.
I'm just
Uh,
saying, as a frequent watcher of NXT, they're kind of doing a whole lot of nothing with Blake Monroe. She's being featured. She's got storylines. She accidentally lost the NXT North American Women's Championship, and she kind of got heat for that.
by
Um,
accident. That's the funniest thing, but
exactly. That's a damn shame. But Sol Ruka, keep your eyes on her. You heard it here first. She's going to be big.
she is. Yeah, maybe just as big as Lita for
Yeah.
sure. Which is a high compliment from Michael Cole. And like it really ups the legitimacy of like, WWE in general because you know how the commentators when the drafts comes around in the NFL and they're talking about, "Oh, this wide receiver reminds me of Reggie Wayne or this tight end reminds me of like George Kittle, like, whoever." Like, that Michael Cole was a very fair analyst on that, and I thought that was a spot on comparison. Um,
I said this about Soruka months ago. I'm just chomping at the bit for her to fight Charlotte Flair. I am more excited for that than I ever was for Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton.
Man, oh
I
man,
said
yeah,
it.
it'll be a better match than that too.
Yeah.
Uh, at 11, you have Roxanne Perez, who lasted 68 minutes in the Royal Rumble last year, almost won it. Doesn't really do
Let
a
me
whole lot of
guess.
what's
She
that?
should have lasted 1 minute longer. It would have been nice.
God damn it! No, she should have lasted 1 minute less.
Hell, and good for God damn it. And good for her. She has built a good little niche for her on Monday Night Raw. When she got brought up, I knew putting her in the Judgment Day was the best decision it could have made for her. She's being featured weekly on TV. I think when you put someone in a stable like that, it just gives them more exposure instead of just doing the whole, oh, look, here's Roxanne Perez. She's a former NXT Women's Champion. She's gonna fight a few jobbers, and then what? Then what do you do with her? At
Speaking
least
of,
here, she's being featured on a weekly basis. The audience knows who she is now.
can we break this fucking stable up sooner rather than later? Like, I'm so done with the Judgment Day. I'm sick of it. Like,
You
I can't
know,
believe I'm saying that, but it's run its course. Like,
it
do
did
something
its
different.
job. It did its job. And I don't want to get too much into this, but you look at the trajectory of like Finn Balor. You look at Dominic Mysterio, who has
We'll get to him.
outgrown this faction. And then you got like, hell, even people like Raquel Rodriguez who are starting to get over. You got Roxanne Perez who's getting over. Liv Morgan doesn't need a damn stable. It's
No,
like, okay. If you want to look at Edge's original vision for the stable, he wanted young talent to get over with it. And I think it did its job. Finn Balor was the veteran. Damian Priest got hugely over with the crowd. Rhea Ripley is the biggest goddamn star on the planet now. I just broke down the other members of the Judgment Day. Like, hey, I know JD McDonough, he's kind of just there, but hey, he's got, again, just like
yeah.
Roxanne Perez, he's been more featured on TV than he ever would have if he was just the mid card heel.
And R-Truth became Ron Killings again, only to go back to his comedic hijinks as R-Truth. So
Yeah,
there is
I'm
that.
still mad. I'm still mad that they kicked our truth out like that. It was not fair.
It's kind of racist if you really think about
Yeah,
it. But
yeah. Well, I
Max,
mean, Carlito just vanished off the planet of the Earth. That was racist.
yeah, it really is. And the aforementioned Maxine Dupree comes out at 12 and mixes it up with Becky Lynch again. And I know you love this next entry, so I'll let you have the floor with her.
Oh boy, it's Nat. No, it's Natty.
Living
Natty Neidhart.
legend.
Natty Neidhart. And in case you haven't been up to date, so if there's one positive with the Triple H regime, it's crazy that I have to word it like this, but I do. Certain wrestlers can work certain indie shows. And since, have you noticed Natalia hasn't been on TV? It's because she's been wrestling Bloodsport, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport of GCW. And while she's been in GCW, she has been doing this new gimmick called the Living Legend. And she's Natty. And she's basically like a bare knuckle MMA fighter who comes out with this entourage and she just beats the fuck out of these ladies. And it's really redefined her as a character. And she's been pushing real hard to get this gimmick on television. And, she's a fucking legend. She's a veteran. She's been there since 2007. They have no
Yeah.
reason to not let her do this gimmick.
And it's awesome. It is awesome. So she starts mixing it up with Becky and mixing it up with Maxine. Becky hits Maxine with the manhandle slam, tosses her out, and Becky, the delusional heel Becky Lynch is just
Who I
it's
love.
she's doing an imitation of a certain someone on social media, and it makes me laugh so hard. And she is just out there making herself look like the most pathetic ass. And Natalia or Natty, I'm sorry, I keep instinctively wanting to call her Natalia. It's Natty.
Oh, well, she's
Natty.
been Natalia for what, almost 20 years. It's going to be a little hard of a habit to break.
I know, but Lynch tried to toss Natty out, and Natty stops it, and Becky is scared shitless, for lack of a better term, and she is tossed over the top rope. She is like sitting on the floor with her feet up in the air, and she's like, "My feet haven't touched the ground. My feet haven't touched the ground." And I'm like, "You're out. You're out, sweetie. Back to the locker
Also,
room."
the reason why, and also the way this character got introduced on television, Natty is the reason why Maxine Dupree did not regain the Intercontinental Championship. So after Dupree won the championship, she wanted to become a better fighter. So she went to her best friend Natalia, and they did these really good vignettes of Natty training her in the dungeon, like knocking her down and just saying, "Get up again, get up again." I love character development like that. But Natty feels like Maxine Dupree let her down. So she cost her the championship. And now we're going to get a fun little TV feud between the two.
Yeah, yeah. Might as well put that match on the chamber, but there's no room for that because God knows you can't have more than 5 matches on a pay-per-view that's not
I
one of the big
mean,
four.
in certain instances, it's okay to have a feud be exclusively for television, but we're talking about how come the mid card championship almost never gets defended on pay per view?
You mean to tell
Tag team
me
titles.
you mean to tell me that Damian Priest versus Aleister Black in an ambulance match would not have been a killer match on pay-per-view?
Exactly. Exactly. Now, you got to find your happy medium. We talk about
Yeah.
this AEW all the time with their 15 match cards. You talk about this, like the 2018 era or like the 2019 era. What was that one pay per view? Not TLC. I think it was Extreme Rules 2019. And they had like 9 matches on the card.
You
And
have
I'm
to get
like,
everybody on the card.
yeah, like I think TLC and Extreme Rules were the biggest offenders. Because when you have a regular pay per view that's pushing towards the 5 hour mark, it's like, okay, we don't need to see what was it like Aleister Black versus Rusev. We didn't need to see that on pay per view, but
Probably
there
not.
are blood feuds that need to be on pay per view. I think we're
Yeah.
preaching to the choir here, but we use this platform to get this shit off our chests.
Liv Morgan comes in at the curse number 14, which is not cursed because it's worn by Sam Darnold of the reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, you
He
done? Are you
goes in
done?
there. No, I'm
Are you
not
done?
done. I will not be done. Remember when we won the Super Bowl in the 49ers
I
Stadium? That was fun.
remember when Bad Bunny
Liv
performed. That
Morgan.
was awesome.
Yeah, Bad Bunny did perform, and it was fucking great, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Liv Morgan hits an Oblivion right away, three amigos on Sol Ruka, and then out comes Lash Legend, and she is throwing out a bunch of people. She threw out 5 women out of this Rumble, so you can tell that they have somewhat big plans for her
Remember when I said
until they release her in like 5 years. But you know,
Remember when I said on the Survivor Series pod, they saved a Lash Legend for the end and she came out to no fanfare? It's because they booked her backwards. If you want to book her as a monster, that's fine. This is how you do it, but you can't introduce her at the end of a War Games match when she's done little to nothing.
jeez.
If you want her to have be a
and
destroyer on SmackDown, that's fine. You got to build her up first.
and
You got to give me a reason to be scared of her.
take it from someone who was in the building. Lash Legend, when she came out at War Games, got barely any reaction. Like
Yeah.
that's the God's honest truth. So 16 is Zelina, no longer Vega, because she has formed this dark couple alliance with her real life husband, Aleister Black, which
Which is
is
cool, man. Which is just cool.
it's very cool. It's very cool. I'm glad that Zelina is showing a different side of her like manager personality that made her so awesome in NXT Black and Gold when she was managing Andrade. Like that was awesome. That was an awesome
Yeah,
pairing.
it's kind of like
I miss that.
WWE. You couldn't pair them back up again and then re-debut Aleister Black and had a badass feud between Andrade and Black. You couldn't do that.
Well, no, because WWE doesn't like us to have fun. And then here comes the Judgment Day completion with Big Mommy Cool Raquel Rodriguez at 17, because of course I got to get the Diesel comparison in there. Because,
Oh, I mean, Kevin Nash gave her the blessing to go
yeah,
by Big Sexy, which is quite the endorsement, if you ask me. Raquel Rodriguez, I
I
feel like we've
fucking
been
forgot
talking
about
about
that
this
nickname.
woman. We've been talking about this woman for years and years. And what have I always said about her? Her gimmick is she smiles and she has shoulders. It's
Yeah,
nice to see that WWE is starting to put some investment in her because she's another one. We don't have a lot of Lady Hosses over the years. And here we have Lash Legend, Jade Cargill, Raquel Rodriguez. Do something with them. It's nice to see they're starting to do something with Raquel Rodriguez and actually give her a personality.
so at 18, after that, speaking of personality, someone probably with the most personality out of anybody in this match, Chelsea Green.
Who wins for ring attire of the night. She was
Yes.
wearing a full-blown skirt made out of dollar bills with her face on them.
Yeah.
I want to meet this woman one day
Hey,
and just
Bradshaw,
geek
eat
out
your
with
heart
her.
out. Eat your heart out,
I
Bradshaw.
want to meet this woman one day and just geek out with her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of had a like sort of guilty by association chance to with Matt Cardona being at that indie show, but
You mean the
regardless,
show where he lost the internet championship to Shotzi Blackheart, fair
yeah,
and square?
that's right. Yeah, Shotzi pinned him clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3.
Shout out to
But
Shotzi. Her niece sold me a shirt. It was really cool.
hell yeah, hell yeah. Number 19 is the Women's United States Champion Julia. Um, two-time Women's US Champion, which hasn't gotten the rub that the Women's IC title has. Let's be very
I'm.
frank.
It's not
This is not as prestigious of a championship as the Women's IC title has been.
okay.
Like,
It's not that I have hopes for the United States Championship, but I will take me to my grave, kicking and screaming. I'm hanging on to hope for Julia. This woman is a badass, and she has that Oscar vibe to her. She has that Io Sky vibe to her. And she's another one. Like, I'm gonna say this until I'm blue in the face. Fucking do something with her. You know
please
how I was just defending Mark Nash a few minutes ago with his ring announcement? I love when he announces Julia's name. It gives like this sense of like fear into this woman. And she's a badass.
give her
She's a
give her
badass.
give her Money in the Bank. Why not? Have her run with
Please.
that. Do
Like,
something.
you talk about like, your yin and yangs, your Stone Cold Steve Austin, your Rocks, your John Cena and your Batistas. I know this is a very, very, very stretch of a comparison.
Oh, here we
You
go.
could have had that with Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. It's still not too late. They're still very fresh
Nope.
into their main roster runs. But you have
Nope.
your Stephanie Vaquer, who was the women's world champion, who's getting over huge. Her yang could be Julia.
But it's not. But it's not. Instead, she's having stinker matches with Nikki Bella. Well, it wasn't a stinker match, but Nikki Bella wasn't a typical opponent that you'd want Stephanie Vaquer to work on a pay-per-view.
Vaquer is not dead in the water. I'm scared Julia's like teetering on that line to being dead in the water.
I really hope that she doesn't get into that water too much, but
You know what
it
you do with her? You either draft her to Raw or you draft Io Sky to SmackDown and you let these women have a 30-minute Broadway. That's
yeah.
what you do with her.
Well, speaking of Io Sky, here she comes at number 20 in what feels like a big stretch of Japanese women's wrestlers coming in one after the other. Michael Cole does call Io Sky the best wrestler on the planet, which, debatable, considering that Will Ospreay is also walking the earth, considering AJ Styles also walks the earth. But in terms of
Um,
the women,
she's in the
in terms,
conversation.
she is
If you
definitely
say
in the conversation. She's definitely in
top
the
five
conversation.
wrestlers in the world, you could
Yes.
say Osprey. Um, wow, why am I blanking? Definitely. I mean, I would say it. Yeah, Osprey, Gunther, Io Sky's in the top five.
Yeah,
Definitely. I would definitely say
definitely.
that.
I don't know about the best though. I do not know about the best, Michael Cole.
Women,
Maybe
though,
that's women, yes.
that's
Women,
definitely in
yes.
the conversation. There's
Women,
nobody off the top of my head.
yeah.
Like, you could
Um,
say Tony Storm, but that's like complete package. Tony Storm is the complete package. But when it comes to just being bare bones, pound for pound, the best women's professional wrestler in the world, I wouldn't argue with you if you said Io Sky.
I I wouldn't because I would say that it's EO. And then out comes Asuka at 21, the winner of the very first Women's Royal Rumble, by the way. Um, it's there's some eliminations going on here and there. Lash Legend is throwing people out, and like I said, she eliminated 5 people from this match. Out comes Rhea Ripley at 22, who gets the biggest ovation out of
Yeah.
anybody so far.
Yeah. We're
Um,
really getting to the heavy hitters now.
yes, yeah, and this is the first time Rhea is entering a Royal Rumble match since she actually went the distance in 2023, winning it from number one. Um, and of course, in a Royal Rumble, this woman gets pyro during her entrance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that really tells you who the stars are, you
Oh, you
know?
want to talk about something that's very, very minuscule, but it kind of bugs me? I
Hmm.
remember every single Royal Rumble in the past, if you were a champion, you didn't bring your belt out to the ring. And I noticed every champion was bringing out their title. And like take Becky Lynch, for example. When she came out with the title, I'm like, What are you going to do with that? You got to get in the ring. Becky Lynch throws the Intercontinental title on the ground. And when she did that, I go, this is why in a
Well,
Royal
no.
Rumble, you don't bring your championship to the ring.
Jessica Carr was going to take it from her, but Becky Lynch still has a beef with Jessica, so she refused to give the belt to Jessica Carr, instead giving it to Rudy Charles on the other side of the ring. And I'm
Okay,
like,
that's a nice detail, but you know
that's
what I
funny.
mean? Like, it's
That's
almost
funny.
pointless to bring your championship to the ring when you're in a Royal Rumble.
Well, you gotta flaunt that you still have some sort of accolade when you enter the Rumble, and I'm like,
Okay,
I'm
maybe
gonna
if it
get
was
another one.
maybe if it was just Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch's character would 100% do that.
Yeah, there was a sick elimination where Rhea throws Roxanne Perez like way deep into the third row as Chelsea Green and Alba Fire catch her on the outside. Chelsea Green had been eliminated by this point, unfortunately. But you got to keep in mind, Rhea Ripley is very tall compared to some of these other girls, and Roxanne
Yeah.
Perez is a petite little one. So
Yes.
Rhea Ripley got some distance with that throw, man. Like, oh my God. I was like, please make sure you catch her safely, you know?
You want to talk about heavy hitters that every single time we talk about, I'm convinced with every passing day, she's going to AEW. It's
Hi,
Bailey.
Bailey. Hi, Bailey.
I
Ooh, I want to
understand.
know if you'll be my girl.
I understand that in a vast sea of women's wrestlers that are very over, you can't use all of them. But with Bailey, it just feels like they're not trying. They are
That
purposely going out of the way to not do anything with her,
they're not. They're
which
not.
is fucking an
Which is
insult.
egregious, yeah, because it's like she is putting her all into this almost split personality character that she's teasing. And, when you have her best friend on the other side, it's looking a whole lot more tempting for her to go
You
and do
look
that.
at the last 12 to 13 years, and you cannot name another wrestler who's put their blood, sweat, and tears into this company than Bailey, and they're going to treat her like this when she's a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Why are you doing the Bay Area girls so dirty, man? Why do you got to do that? Um,
At
here
least someone from the Bay Area got good treatment tonight. We'll
he
talk
sure
about that
did.
later.
He sure did. Here comes the NXT Women's Champion, by the way, JC Jane. Speaking of people walking out with their belts, JC Jane is the world champion in NXT, and here she is in the Royal Rumble.
Um, I
Make
don't
make it
know
make
if this
sense.
is because I haven't been keeping that up to date with NXT. I'd maybe watch it like on a bi-weekly basis. This is kind of embarrassing. I kind of forgot she was the women's champion. I don't know if she's been hot potatoing that title around, but you know what? She's ready. Bring her up to the main roster. Bring
Yeah,
Fallon Henley and I'm sorry, the other one who I forgot who her name was. I think
the other one.
yeah. Let me try that again. The division could benefit from a woman's stable, a heel woman's stable. Like they never brought
Totally.
up toxic attraction. They got fatal influence here. Like JC Jane has been in the system for a few years now. It kind of bugs the fuck out of me when these ladies, not ladies, like when NXT people are in NXT for like 5 years and they still haven't
Especially
got brought up.
when she is the last woman standing from the aforementioned Toxic Attraction stable, and now she
Yeah,
has a Toxic Attraction stable of her own.
yeah.
So
So it's
it's
like before it's too late. Look how they did my boy Desmond Xavier dirty. Look how they did him dirty. Boy was
oh
putting on
man.
banger after banger in NXT, and they fucking fired him.
Natty takes an oblivion on the apron, and that's how Natty is eliminated. I thought that was pretty sick at this point in the match. And out comes Nikki Bella at 25, and I'm sure you were very happy to see her. And Saudi Arabia was very happy to see Nikki Bella.
You
But
know, when Nikki came out, I was like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna fucking happen. More
yeah,
on that later.
Cooper
Um,
Cooper DeJean, I'm sure was happy to see Nikki Bella.
Number
Number 20,
26 is again, talk about a lady who had a lot of steam at the beginning of the year.
yes.
Lyra Valkyria. They're doing nothing with her, and that's a fucking crime to society.
Yeah, number 26, worn by Zach Charbonnet of the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Here comes Lyra
Fucking Christ.
Valkyria. And again, she's there's a lot of women in the ring, dude. And it feels like they're building it up again for someone like a Lash Legend to eliminate a bunch of people, but Lash Legend is still in there and she's doing almost like not nothing, but it almost feels like a lot of these women are just there and they're just
Yeah,
like upping the clock. Charlotte is still in there. And number
Um,
one, like I said, like she would be in there for
I was gonna say something about Lyra Valkyria. It totally just escaped my mind. Never
woo,
mind. Anyway, it's not. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you,
woo,
thank you. I know why she's got getting pushed. I think she has heat with Ric Flair for stealing his gimmick.
woo.
Woo,
Except she's a bird.
woo. I'm
Except she's a
surprised Ric Flair hasn't like did one of his drunken Twitter rants where he accuses Lyra Valkyria of stealing his gimmick.
yeah. Uh
All
it's
right. Number 27, we have more NXT representation with Kaylani Jordan, the first ever NXT North American Women's Champion. Really cool to see her in the Royal Rumble. Number 28 is Kairi Sane, and this is where the drama starts.
yeah. Kyrie Sane wasn't in the ring for very long. But it's because
A minute and a half.
yep, the whole 90-second interval, pretty much. And Kairi Sane nearly eliminates Asuka. And then Kairi Sane has to save Asuka from elimination. Io Sky tries to move. Kairi Sane avoids it. Sane goes for her forearm, which always looks like it hurts like a mother, and she accidentally knocks her partner off. And I'm
Oh my
like,
God. I have to go on a tangent about this. I'm
here we
not gonna
go.
name the person who did this because I don't want him to think I'm making fun of him. But the minute this happened, my friend for like 5 to 10 minutes wouldn't stop going, we're getting Kyrie Sane and Oscar at Mania. We're getting Kyrie Sane and Oscar at
No, we're
Mania. We're
not.
getting and I'm just
No,
like,
we're
I don't
not.
think we are. That'd be yeah, sure. I mean, that'd be cool, but we're not. We're not.
At best it's Raw before Mania. At
Like
best.
honestly, at
At
best, it's not the
best.
pay-per-view after Mania.
Like that backlash in Tampa is gonna be, yeah, no, fat chance. I'm
Perhaps.
sorry. I'm
I just
sorry.
don't see there's still more story to tell with these two with the Kabuki Warriors, and I just don't see it happening. But on the other side of the coin, I love how Kyrie Sane gets eliminated from the Rumble every single year. Like she's fighting to get not get eliminated. She's fighting, and then she slowly just drops to her knees and she screams to the heavens that she got eliminated. And I don't know if it was
No!
TV or if it was my other friend that mentioned this, but as she was getting eliminated, her knees were touching the mat and she fell on her stomach with her legs up. And we kind of went, she's not eliminated, guys. Her feet have not touched the ground. And then she laid her feet down and she was eliminated. And I'm like, Kyrie saying you kind of did this weird like inchworm thing if you really wanted to, kept your feet in the air and just like inchwormed your way to the steel
This
steps,
is
and
this
you
is
could have avoided elimination,
this is really stretching the rules. It's almost like Kofi Kingston saving himself from elimination via pancakes.
which was awesome. And
I
I
mean,
saw this really
that's
funny
bullshit
kayfabe
though.
article
It's
where they
it's
said 1 year Kofi Kingston's just gonna cut his feet off,
it's bullshit
and
though. The pancakes are on the floor.
but his foot isn't.
Yep. Oh my God. Like, so
They
okay.
said Kofi Kingston's not going to get eliminated because he amputated his own feet. And then they said, well, then The Miz just walked out with his severed feet and threw them on the ground. And that's how he got eliminated.
Okay, so let's say I'm standing on a carpet that is over hardwood floor. If I'm standing on the carpet, does that mean I'm standing on the floor?
Um, no, but what if you were standing on a wooden crate that was on the floor? Your
I
feet aren't on the floor then.
Yeah, you're standing on a crate though. The crate is
If
different
you,
from a stack of pancakes which are on the
well, it's
floor.
elevated off the ground.
What if I'm
Hey, I got to pause real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about.
Well, then at number 29,
Well, I hope you guys can hear that because I can't.
what? You
I
can't hear
can't
it?
hear it.
You shitting me?
I heard like a snippet.
Ruined my bed playing one of the worst theme songs of all time for
Hey,
Brie
no,
Bella.
no, 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 Mister. You stop. I'm okay. I'm gonna
You're gonna
get
you're
on
gonna
my
fight
fucking
me?
soapbox about this,
You're gonna
and I
fight
will
me on
announce it
that?
to the world. I don't care if I'm the only one standing on this soapbox, and I go down, and I'm not going down. I'm gonna go down, kicking and scratching and clawing and gnawing. Free mode, A Beautiful Life is a fucking banger,
Hey,
and
you're probably the only one that thinks that. I
and
guarantee you.
it's crazy. A 180 I'm about to do right now. I marked out for Bree. because I like Brie. I think she is
because
the superior Bella twin.
she is, and the crowd was doing the yes chant as she was walking out.
And
Michael Cole,
I gotta,
please say the name of the person who made the yes chant famous, and please
I
say the
gotta,
name of the person who made those kicks as famous as they did.
I marked
No,
the fuck out. Not gonna lie, I marked out, and then I looked at my party and said, "You know what? Fuck it," and I started headbanging to "Beautiful Life." I like that song. It's a good theme song. I mean, how can you go wrong with lyrics like
it sounds like the Muppet Chickens are singing that when you do it
I mean, hey, what better time to bring that up with than with the revival of the Muppet Show?
with good old fashioned Sabrina Carpenter in there.
That's my wife you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to fight Bronson Reed about that, and I'm afraid Bronson Reed would eat you. But anyway,
Mhm.
so yeah, Bree does the yes kicks, and Michael Cole refuses to say Daniel Bryan's name on commentary. But I'm like, who the fuck cares? The man's retired full time. You can say Daniel Bryan's name. I don't care that he is a commentator in the rival promotion. You can say Daniel Bryan's name. Like, goddamn, don't be so petty.
I mean, they've referenced Edge. They've referenced other people.
And that's her husband too.
Yeah.
Like just fucking say his name. It's really not that hard. But
Now, you know what? I want to talk about this now because there's really no other point to talk about it. Um, okay, I will say this. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it, but I would much rather Brie be back and team with Nikki than do whatever the fuck they were doing with Nikki on her own.
you're challenging and losing to Stephanie Vaquer.
So, you know what? Am I like hell fucking yeah, put the tag team titles on the Bellas? No, but I would rather them do that than whatever the fuck they are doing with Nikki right now.
I will say it was very funny the return promo on Raw when Brie was like, "I'm sure you all are wondering when I'm back," and then the one person you could just audibly hear, "No, we didn't."
No, like I'm in this weird spot with the Bellas. I don't like them, but I don't know. I like Brie. I made my opinion on Nikki very, very clear at this point. They are not blazers. They are not
No,
trendsetters. They are not
no.
the reason women's wrestling is thriving today. I can name 20 wrestlers off the top of my fucking head that do that a lot better. But I don't know. I just have this weird love-hate relationship with them where like I would love to meet Brie and give her a hug, but if I ever saw Nikki, I'd be like, I'd like shake her hand awkwardly. Like I made awkward eye contact with Nia Jax at WrestleCon.
Goodness gracious. Yeah.
So
So
whatever. They're here. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
it's whatever. Number 30 is the returning Tiffany Stratton, and she does the whole thing where she's pointing to her wrist because that's her whole gimmick. It's Tiffy time.
Can I say this right now, as a
Yeah,
little morbid as it sounds? I'm kind of glad number 30 wasn't Bianca Belair because obvious number 30 would have been obvious. And I
yeah.
kind of like it just being a little mixed up, just a little. It's nice when you don't know who's going to come out at number 30, when everyone's saying it's going to be this person, it's going to be this person. Like Tiffany Stratton was a more welcome surprise. And don't get me wrong, I'm ready for Bianca Belair to come back. It sucks that a
But
finger
I'm
injury kept her out an entire year.
good God, yeah. What the fuck is wrong with her? Because
She broke her finger at Mania, and then it just got worse.
a finger injury.
Yeah, like I remember growing up, this may be a little unrelated, but I think it just relates best to this. When growing up, when I was a huge Kings fan, and I would hear so and so is out 3 games because they have a broken pinky, and people were like, "Oh, boo hoo, you can't play with the broken pinky." Guys, if you ever played basketball, you need to handle the ball with all 10 fingers. You take one of those fingers out of the equation, you can't really do shit. So yes, a broken pinky is going to leave a guy out for a few games.
Yeah,
Bianca Belair's finger. You can't punch, you can't do backflips, you can't do a lot without a finger. And I would
right.
really hate to see that grow into a broken wrist, a broken hand, something torn in her shoulder. So whatever's going on with her, I hope she's okay. But for a finger injury to keep you off for an entire year, there's got to be more to this.
I really, really hope that she's doing okay. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of ladies in there, and it's time for everybody to get tossed out. Sol Ruka does hit the Soul Snatcher on JC Jane, and I popped for that. Sol
Hell
Ruka
fucking
tosses
yeah.
her out. And the Bellas eliminate Lyra and Bailey, and I'm sure all the internet wrestling fans were having some sort of conniption when the Bella Twins got those eliminations, and I'm like, I can't even be mad at this, like, because there's no point in wasting my energy. It happened, and we'll see Bailey in AEW around this point, either next year or the year after. Um,
Oh man, if it takes her 2 years to get to AEW, then I would feel bad for her. Because unless they do a total 180 on her trajectory, I see her doing a whole lot of nothing. Like I'm scared she's not
well,
going to be on WrestleMania this year.
and the fact that the Bellas are probably some of the most over women in this match, like, speaks
Yeah,
volumes,
can
you
we
know?
talk about that for a second? Saudi Arabia was
Sucks.
very, very,
Horrible crowd.
very, very happy to see Brie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she would have got that big a pop in the States. Yeah, she would have gotten a pop. She still would have got the yes chance, but that was an insane pop for Brie. Like, it
But
kept
we'll
going throughout the entire match to the point where I knew it wasn't going to happen. But if Brie would have won the whole damn thing, the crowd would have exploded.
we'll get into them. I mean, maybe I
But,
shouldn't
like,
say they sucked as a
I'm
crowd
not
because they
mad.
definitely had some energy, but I
Yeah,
mean,
like
they
I'm not mad. I'm just I would have said good the fuck for Brie that she got this reaction, but I just
yeah,
wasn't expecting that.
it's the energy was put into the weirdest fucking places, I thought.
Yeah,
Um but Lash Legend eliminates both Bellas on her own, and Charlotte Flair is eliminated around this point, I think also by Lash Legend, and she lasted almost an hour, making it to the final six. Rhea Ripley is the one to eliminate Lash Legend after she tossed her tag team champion partner Io Sky out, which is like nuts. The Lash Legend is being put in this spot like this quickly, being the one to eliminate Io Sky. The Rhea Ripley took the sickest bump of an elimination out of anybody, I thought, because Raquel picks Rhea up for a Tahana bomb and legit like Tahana bombs her onto the floor. And I'm like, you can only trust your real life best friend with a spot like that. Because I
also gonna
know,
say if Rodriguez is out there eliminating Rhea Ripley, that's doing something with her. That makes her a legitimate threat. I think
yeah,
Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley had some very underrated matches in NXT. Just saying,
one of which was a last woman standing match,
which was
which is a
great.
shitty stipulation, but
Wasn't that the match where Rhea Ripley like stuffed Dakota Kai into a locker
I
and left
think
her
it
there for the whole
was. I
match?
think
That
it
was
was.
great.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. And it turned out that was Rhea Ripley's NXT farewell too, now that I'm remembering it.
And it was
Um
a great match because the last person standing is a great match concept.
Shitty stipulation,
Damian
but
Priest and Aleister Black had a good last man standing match.
because Aleister Black beat him by fire. Of
Not
course,
just because of that, it was also a good match,
of course, Damian Priest wasn't gonna get up from fucking fire. But
but it
anyway,
was a good match.
Liv Morgan eliminates Raquel Rodriguez, and that's like the third tag team betrayal this entire match. And I'm like, there's some trouble brewing here. Liv Morgan is kind of sneaky, 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 sneaky. But your final three blondes
You know what
are
we call this, Dak? This
what's
is called
that?
planting seeds. In the great words of Deadpool,
Ooh.
this is a big steaming heap of foreshadowing.
Oh yeah.
You know what? WWE can still
Ooh.
tell stories, and they're brewing up a good story right now. I just hope they don't fail with the execution.
I hope they disband the Judgment Day with this storyline because again, I am fucking sick of this stable. But anyway, your final three blondes are Liv Morgan, Sol Ruka, and Tiffany Stratton. Which, first of
And
all, I'm like Sol Ruka in the final three of the Royal Rumble after lasting 50 minutes. Like, yes, strap
so
the fucking rocket to this woman.
I
Like,
am very superstitious when it comes to the Rumble to the point where I don't like saying stuff out loud. So I wasn't quietly watching this like I was the men's, but there was a point where I was sitting there watching intently, and in my mind I go, "What if Sol Ruka? Like I would be thrilled to pieces if she won this shit." So she was kind of like my sleeper pick, kind of like a I'm not expecting her to win, but it would be cool as fuck if she did. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, but she goes for a soul snatcher on the apron, and Tiffany Stratton pushes her off and she lands to
Oh,
the floor.
this was
Um,
a very exciting, very tense final moments
it
of the match.
was.
These three ladies pulled off a very impressive sequence on the apron.
The last few years, the Women's Royal Rumble finishes, I think, have been consistently really good, especially since Hunter started booking.
Also,
Um,
whoa, hold the fuck on. The
okay.
unsung heroes of this match are Jason Jordan and Tyson Kidd, who
The
produced this
producers.
match,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
Tyson Kidd has been an unsung hero for the women for like 10 plus years now. And Jason Jordan, he's a very smart individual when it comes to pro wrestling. I'm so happy they gave him a backstage agent job after his career was unfortunately cut short due to a broken neck. But you want to give credit where
A
credit's
broken
due.
freaking neck.
Jordan, Kidd, and I think Petey Williams produced this match.
Great minds. Great minds think alike, that's for sure. Um, but your finish is Liv Morgan hitting Tiffany Stratton with an oblivion on the apron. Liv Morgan rolls back in and she wins the Women's Royal Rumble after being in every single one since its inception in 2018. And she finally gets the big win. Good
Wasn't
for
it
her,
in
man.
2022 where she insisted on being number one or number two so she could run the mile?
Yeah, it was 2023. I think she wanted to be number one. Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley was given number one, and then they gave her number two. And I was like, it's basically the same thing, Liv. It's basically the same thing. But I'm like,
So this was 1,000,000% the right call. She was my pick. I was so happy for this. Like, you want to talk about a woman, go all the way back to 2018 when she debuted in NXT. And you know what I called her? She is a carbon copy ripoff of Alexa Bliss, like copy and paste almost. And I didn't really see her going anywhere. And you want to talk about someone who has slowly, and I mean slowly but surely, captured the hearts of almost every fan in the WWE. Liv Morgan's your girl. I am so happy for her. From her days in NXT to the Riot Squad to really floundering in the mid card to getting. Remember her day one match with Becky Lynch when we were all screaming
yeah,
at our TV saying you should have strapped her up then?
yep.
They took their time with her and it paid off.
And here she is winning the Royal Rumble after humble beginnings, where she was a mere waitress in Elmwood Park, New Jersey.
Yeah,
And she goes
a
into
Hooters girl.
NXT. Yes, she goes through and she, debuts with the Riot Squad. And the date of her main roster debut is tattooed on her somewhere. It's matching with Ruby Riot and Sarah Logan, which is really awesome. Uh, she goes through the gauntlet, always being the bridesmaid, but never the bride. She has one of the banner years of 2024, if you ask me, holding the women's world title, getting into that storyline with Dirty Dom, and it
And
all it all caps off with this. And
I
I'm
don't want to
like,
say
this is
this
awesome.
out loud, but for all intents and purposes, we're talking about someone who probably should have been released 5 years ago. And
Yep,
she persisted. She persisted and she became one of the hardest working women on the roster, one of the most recognizable, if you ask me.
yep,
And now going forward, I think her storyline is very interesting going into WrestleMania. She hasn't made her decision. It's obvious. I think she's going to go for the women's world title, the title that she wants to regain. It's weird
yes,
because it's sort of a babyface story, like, but we're talking about her eliminating Raquel Rodriguez. Stephanie Vaquer is the current women's world champion. It looks like WWE wants to go in the direction of a Shawn Michaels versus Diesel storyline from what, Mania 11?
WrestleMania 11. Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't want to say clearly, but it looks like all fingers are pointing into the direction of that because the next Monday on Raw, Raquel Rodriguez calls out Liv Morgan for eliminating her. Raquel Rodriguez gets a women's world championship match where she falls short with. And I'm not saying shove Stephanie Vaquer to the side so you can have this story. I mean, I'm all in favor for having two triple threats on the Mania card. And if we're looking at a Rodriguez, Vaquer, Morgan triple threat, I'm all for it. Like it gets all three women on the card. Liv Morgan gets to have her moment and win the title. Maybe the story afterward is Morgan Rodriguez one-on-one. I'm kind of looking forward to like a Raquel Rodriguez babyface turn, maybe in the sense of by SummerSlam, she's the one who beats Morgan for the championship.
well, how do you get Rodriguez into that triple threat while making it make sense? how
That's
do
a
how do you
very good point.
Yeah.
And it's almost a good point to the fact that I'm looking forward to what they do on the next few episodes on Raw. Because McIntyre is still the champion. I don't want to see them take the title off her just so we can have a one-on-one. Like McIntyre needs to be in the championship match at Mania, or this
Yes.
was all for nothing. But I'm interested. Color me interested on what they're going to do with this storyline going forward.
But I mean, for now, good for Liv Morgan. She absolutely deserved this win. This was a solid women's rumble, I thought. I mean, there were points where it definitely felt like the pacing dragged for me a little bit, mainly because there were a lot of women in the ring at once, and I know there's a lot of people that like Royal Rumbles that way, and that's totally
I do.
fine.
I
That is
do.
totally fine if that's your jam, but I always feel like there should be some cases where throughout the Rumble, you should also have those moments of dominance from people where you see like, Lash Legend coming in and chucking a few people out. Hell, even Nia Jax early on in the match, like maybe have her toss one or two people out and then have it built up to the point where, Charlotte tosses her out like she did, which, it happened, but I feel like there were points where the pacing was held back a little bit for my liking, but I
For
enjoyed it.
sure.
I
I
enjoyed
still
it.
like this a lot more than the men's rumble because let me tell you right now, in the men's rumble, we had like 4 or 5 people that could have gone on those monstrous tears and they just don't do it. It's
Right.
kind of insane. But more on that later. Up next,
Let's talk about the
man.
best. Let's talk about the best thing on this show.
So I think this pay-per-view was designed to systematically tear me down and break my heart one strand at a time because we have Gunther versus AJ Styles in a match where if AJ Styles loses, he has to retire. Now, how did we get here? So ever since Gunther defeated John Cena in his last match ever in WWE,
John Cena
Gunther,
defeated himself.
he might as well have, let's be real. But Gunther has just been this unlikable, sickening piece of shit on TV, talking about how he made John Cena tap out like a bitch. He's wearing a
Yep.
t-shirt with Cena in the sleeper hold, just as he's about to tap out. And AJ Styles finally confronts him and says, basically it's the classic, you're nothing but a bully. You talk about how you retired John Cena. Why don't you, square up against me instead? They have a match on Raw. AJ Styles technically wins because he has Gunther in the cap killer, and Gunther taps out.
Yep.
But he taps out on the opposite side where the referee can't see him.
He gave up.
Styles relinquishes the hold because he believes he's won. The referee said didn't see Gunther tap out, but when the referee's back is turned, Gunther nails Styles with a low blow, hits him with the power bomb, and beats AJ Styles. So the following week on Raw, AJ Styles demands a rematch. He said, I made you tap out. I won. And Gunther says, I have nothing to gain by wrestling you again. So I'll wrestle you at the Royal Rumble, but you have to put your career on the line.
It's a career-threatening match, and I should have seen the writing on the wall because here's the deal. Ever since Gunther beat John Cena last month on my fucking birthday, mind you, um, and he retired the greatest of all time, probably my favorite WWE superstar of all time. Like the more and more I think about it, John Cena is at the top of my list now. But Gunther is sitting there and he's I gotta address this real quick. And this is my friend who's been talking to me, and you know who you are if you're watching this, not to name names, but he has the gall to call Gunther boring. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, how can you see that? Gunther is a pretentious son of a bitch, and he will like go in there and wrestle circles around you. His character is essentially that I am better than all of you. I am in a league of my own, and nobody else can touch me, And it comes across in his promos too. He can be very sarcastic a lot of the time. How can you call this man boring?
You know
Especially
what?
if you look at his matches. It's like,
Here's the
man.
best thing about Gunther. He hits you where it hurts. He
Yep.
knows how to get under your skin. He doesn't rely on insider terms or insulting the local sports team to get heat. He knows how to get under your skin. And he's been doing that so effectively. Now, let's talk about the build towards this match and why I thought it was better than the build to the match with John Cena.
Because
Okay,
AJ Styles was actually on TV.
Okay, well, there's that. But when was it? It was the Survivor Series pre-show where AJ Styles announced that 2026 will be his last year in professional wrestling. Now, did we know when that was going to happen? No. So that kept the tension of this match real. Where is AJ Styles going to retire here? Is he going to continue? If you look at a logical standpoint, it would have been stupid to have AJ Styles win this match because Gunther
Yes.
beat John Cena in his last match. And that's another
Yes.
thing. That's why I don't like it when people are saying Gunther retired John Cena, Gunther retired Goldberg. No, he did not, because Gunther and Cena already said that was going to be their last match.
Yep.
Regardless if they won or lost, that was going to be their last match.
Gunther
All
just
Gunther did was destroy our hopes and dreams that we could see our heroes be on top one last time.
Yeah, and Gunther also won a tournament to get into the right place at the right time. That's what
Yeah,
Gunther did. He didn't like necessarily. I mean, yes, he did end John Cena's career, and he did make Mister Never give up at the end. But here's my other thing, and that's a very valid point. As until Gunther loses inevitably the WWE Championship, he should not be losing another match.
no,
Like,
because what was this? A month and some change, like 6 weeks after he beat John Cena. If AJ Styles would have won this match, and I know we're bearing the lead, that would have erased all of that. If I hate
yep,
to say it, but if Styles won this match, I would have did a complete 180 and said, "What the fuck did you do making John Cena tap out?" If you
yep.
want to solidify Gunther's legacy forever, you need to preserve this. This is, yes, I'm going to compare it to Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania, which I to this day
Oh,
I
I
still
still
disagree with.
no. That's a. I mean, that's probably the most shocking thing to ever happen since the Undertaker's streak was broken. Seeing
Now,
John Cena end his career by tapping out.
let's go back to 2014. After Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker, imagine if he would have went into SummerSlam and John Cena just beat him. Then you know what? Ending the streak would have been for absolutely nothing. Brock
Yep.
Lesnar needed to destroy whoever was standing in his path, whether it be John Cena, whether it be Bryan Danielson, and win the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Now,
Gunther. You don't have him tap out John Cena, and then he loses at the very next pay per view. And that was just tearing me up inside when the realization was setting in that this is AJ Styles' last match in WWE.
yeah,
But
10
the tension
years.
was there
10
because we did
years.
not know. AJ Styles
Yeah.
did not say, my last match is at the Royal Rumble. He was just saying, 2026 is my last year. We did not see it coming this early, but these
No.
two went in there and had a banger of a match,
This was
a
outstanding.
fantastic match.
This was better than the Raw match, I thought.
This was better than Gunther Cena.
Yes. I mean, I would say, I mean, I'll still say that Gunther and Cena was an excellent match,
It
like four
was.
and a
Oh,
half
yeah.
star level, but this I think was also around the 4.5, 4.75 star level.
Oh, yeah. And I give
And
Cena and Gunther 4 stars. So this exceeded that exponentially. I think Styles, he can still fucking go, and it's a damn shame. Apparently, AJ Styles wants to hang it up now because he doesn't want to get to a point where people are saying he doesn't have it anymore. He wants to
yeah,
preserve his legacy while he still has it. And
very
he went out there and put on a fucking excellent match with Gunther.
very similar to John Cena stepping away from the business too. John Cena stepped away before people could see him be a shell of what he used to be and have people say, "You know what? We don't care about you anymore." But in reality, you also got to remember AJ Styles is honestly he's up there. He's up there with
Yeah.
John Cena in terms of my all-time favorites. And fuck you, Gunther, for like crushing my hopes and dreams. But he goes in there. AJ Styles, you noticeably he takes a deep breath as he starts walking down the aisle. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking it, isn't it? And he's wearing gear that is the same exact color scheme as his WWE debut at this same event 10 years ago,
Now,
which
off the
is
top of my head, if I could put together a Mount Rushmore of the pound for pound greatest professional wrestlers to ever step in the ring, it
AJ's
would
on
be
there.
Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay, Kurt Angle, and AJ Styles.
Yeah. Yeah. Shawn Michaels is a close fifth, all due
Oh yeah.
respect. But
Oh
AJ
yeah. If I were to have a fifth and sixth, it would be Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
AJ is allergic to having bad matches.
Yeah.
And here's the haunting thing of all of this, because you mentioned that we didn't exactly know when AJ was going to hang it up, which like really ups the tension in this of like, is this actually it? And theoretically, you should have seen the writing on the wall because he's in there with fucking Gunther, who should not be losing at this point. Um, but in reality, we've kind of been seeing AJ Styles' pseudo retirement tour over the past year play out
I mean,
to
look
an
at the build to
extent.
this match. They squeezed in a match with him and Shinsuke Nakamura on
Yep.
Saturday Night's Main Event.
in
And
a
what the fuck?
fucking
Why was that the greatest match they had in WWE?
in a fucking awesome match.
Better
Like,
than their
holy
WrestleMania match, better than their Backlash match,
yes.
better than their Money in the Bank match. What
Thank
the
you for
fuck?
thank you for saying that that was better than the last man standing match. Yeah, it's one of the smartest things you've said all night so far.
Okay, listen here, you. It wasn't bad for the last man standing. How did WWE book Styles and Nakamura so poorly in their feud? And then they
Well,
just have a
it's
random out of the blue match on a Saturday Night's Main Event, and it's a fucking banger.
well, it's
They
because
have
Vince
that.
it's because Vince McMahon didn't know what he had. So,
And we go on Raw, they just randomly threw together CM Punk and AJ Styles for the World Heavyweight title. Like they were trying to squeeze in everything they could with Styles because they knew this was it for him.
yeah.
And it was a shame. It
But
was a damn shame. Like, yeah, let's get to the finish of this match because
holy
this was
cow
fucking
though.
excellent.
Holy cow, these two, the chemistry that they have is like, I could watch these two wrestle matches together for the next 10,000 years.
Like, I know
Like,
we're 2 months into the year, but at the end of the year, don't be surprised if this is up there with like one of my favorite matches of the year. This was fucking
definitely.
good.
Counter for counter, gut wrench power bomb, and Styles with a beautiful counter into a great Styles clash for a good near fall. And
Still
this
has
is
that springboard 450 left in him, which is
oh my
insane.
God. And he didn't slip on the lucha ropes this time,
No,
which I'm like, thank you. I'm like, I'm so glad that AJ is not haunted by the ghosts anymore. Well, like Sam Darnold isn't haunted by ghosts anymore these days, but the crowd is chanting, this is awesome for these two. Gunther hits a snug looking power bomb, which AJ kicks out of, and Gunther's complaining to the referee, of course, because he's a heel.
nobody takes a back body drop like AJ Styles.
No, no. You
Like,
look at the first one he took in WWE from fucking Ryback of all
yeah,
people, and he got
okay.
air.
I have a very interesting comparison when it comes to Styles and that. AJ Styles is like a cat, but instead of landing on his feet, he knows how to land on his back. You could twist this man, make him do like 4 rotations, and no matter what, he knows exactly how to land flat on his back. Like
I
even
will,
when he botched that Saturday Night's Main Event in that tag match, he slipped off the ropes and he knew how to spin himself to land flat on his back.
but that doesn't make some of the bumps he's taken throughout his career any less stupid. Because I
Oh
vividly
no.
remember there was a match. I think it was either Against All Odds or it might have been I don't remember exactly, but it was an Ultimate X match. And Chris Sabin jumps off the
Oh, I know
ropes with
what
a
you're talking about.
springboard and he kicks AJ in the sternum. And AJ literally like hangs off the X and he lets go and he just like does a front flip over and he lands on his back somehow. And I'm like, this man is legitimately folded up like a piece of paper. And he
AJ
just,
Styles looks at that ring and goes, you're never going to break my neck. Never. AJ
goodness
Styles is the
gracious.
one guy in wrestling that's probably saying there is no fucking way in hell I am either going to break my neck and you will never see me get concussed.
That
He
bump
knows exactly how to fall.
That bump was a lot less stupid than the bump he took at the end of Elevation X against Rhino. I will tell you that much. That was
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very stupid. But
Yeah. But
um,
I don't, man, I mean, I need someone to fact check this for me. Go through AJ Styles' career. Has he ever suffered a concussion? I'm going to say no because he knows exactly how to fucking land.
he did miss a good chunk of time due to injury, and that forced him to miss WrestleMania 39. I don't know if that was concussion related or if
That
it
was his
was
shoulder.
that was his shoulder. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no. No. So you're
Well, I
right. No,
mean,
he's never gotten a concussion.
if AJ Styles has an Achilles heel, it's his shoulder because he had a shoulder tear that almost made him miss WrestleMania 36 in 2020. Ironically, from Edge, one of Edge's first spears on Styles, and
I
he
remember
did him
that.
wrong.
I remember that. Yeah, and
It took him out for like 6 weeks, I want to say.
we almost didn't get the Boneyard match, which is still one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Please don't bury me.
When
Please
you're
don't
when you're
bury
winning
me.
in life, let me bury you. When you're losing in life, don't bury me.
And
Let me, oh, let me bury you. Gayest thing AJ Styles
Oh,
ever
come
said.
on. Come on, son. You put up a hell of a fight.
Come on. Come
I'm
on.
not gonna I'm
Talk.
not gonna
Hey,
bury you.
how old am I again? Say how old I am again. Say, what's my wife's name? Say my wife's name. Styles, sorry. What you sorry for, son? What you sorry for? I can't wait to watch that again in like a month.
Oh, I want to
Because
watch
this
it.
is what I do. I know
Yeah.
we're going off on a tangent. I go back and watch the last 10 WrestleManias leading up to this year's Mania. And when I get to 2020, I'm forcing myself to watch more matches, but I always watch the Boneyard. And I swear, every time I watch the Boneyard match, I notice something different every time. And last year, it was Undertaker going, oh, AJ Styles going, I'm sorry. And Taker going, what you sorry for, son? What you sorry for?
And
And Styles
then
says nothing. Yeah, that's what I thought.
and then Cody Rhodes apologizes to the referee for knocking him out during a match. I'm sorry. We gotta finish this.
We gotta finish this.
What do you mean
I
we?
swear, the next
What
time
do you mean
Cody wins
we?
the WWE title, he's gonna raise the referee's arm. I know what we're doing here. We're delaying the inevitable. But let's talk about the finish of
Yeah.
this match because
So AJ, I don't think he goes for the phenomenal forearm because Gunther puts on his sleeper hold of death, and AJ Styles is fighting like that pit bull that Vince McMahon wanted him to be 10 years ago. And here's the big key poetic difference in this finish. AJ Styles passes out in the sleeper hold to Gunther. John Cena accepted his fate. He knew that Gunther was a hungry man and he was a Terminator that he could not conquer. And a lot like Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, he was ready to let go and he tapped out. He gave up. AJ Styles passes out in the sleeper and he wakes up and he comes to the realization that his career is over. And it's like he doesn't want it to be over. He wants to keep going, you
you
know?
want to know what's insane about this? This actually hit me a little harder than Cena.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Wow.
it was because of that low key surprise factor. Like again, with Cena, we knew no matter what, win, lose, or draw, that was his last match. With Styles, you didn't know. And after he lost, it kind of just sat there with me going, where have the last 10 years gone? That went by like in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And my poor friend was in tears. Like I had to console him when this match was over. Like,
It's
and I get it, man. Like you look at us, like you look at the demographic of like I don't know, the 26 to 31 year olds. These wrestlers were our childhood, or like I think I was 21 years old when AJ Styles came to WWE. And I still remember
yeah.
where I was, what I was doing, how I reacted. But AJ Styles was also a part of my childhood because I discovered AJ Styles when I was 10 years old, I want to say. He's been a part of my life, whether it be TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE. Like it's all of our heroes are they're getting old, man, and they're starting to hang it up. And it's just a sad realization.
2004. It was a hot summer day. I was just getting done with another school year and I was just surfing the channels and I see Total Nonstop Action Wrestling Impact and I'm like, what is this? This isn't WWE. This isn't
Yeah.
SmackDown. And in the main event of that show, there was a certain phenomenal one that walked through that tunnel and he looked so damn cool coming out to that get ready to fly variation and I'm like, and then I see him work and I'm like, this guy's awesome. This guy's the best.
And
And
yeah,
I remember where I was when he debuted in WWE finally, and he got the deserved reaction that he got in Orlando, of all places. I saw him become the WWE champion. I've had the pleasure of seeing him wrestle some phenomenal matches, no pun intended. Um, and fuck you, Gunther, for ending this one.
for
Uh,
me,
and
it was a
that's three. That's three
yeah,
on his kill list. He ended a staple of WCW in Goldberg. He ended a staple of WWE in John Cena, and he ended the staple of total nonstop action in AJ Styles. The faces of three companies. Like,
for
because
me,
to be fair, there is no TNA without AJ Styles.
no,
Like,
no,
TNA would not be where it is right now if it was not for AJ.
no.
No.
For me, it was the opposite. It was a cold October Saturday night, and we were just flipping through channels like we do on Saturday nights. We discovered TNA, and I loved it. And here's the thing, I didn't even have to see AJ Styles wrestle. He appeared in a backstage segment with Christopher Daniels because they were heading into an X Division title match. This was 3 nights before Bound for Glory. And man, take me back to those days, Styles and Daniels for the X Division title. And I took one look at AJ Styles and I went, wow, he's cool. I like this guy. And he immediately became my favorite wrestler in TNA.
I remember that 30-minute Iron Man match that they had at Bound for Glory. That was a banger. Right, like in the same year that they had another Iron Man match, I think at Destination X, I want to say. I don't remember
Yeah.
the pay-per-view off the top of my head, but like they wrestled two 30-minute Iron Man matches on pay-per-view in the span of a year.
Yeah. And
And
they
they would
were
go on,
the
they would
best of the best.
have, I mean, Claire Lynch storyline notwithstanding, those two I think have one of my personal favorite rivalries in TNA.
Yeah.
Like, period. And he would go on to have classics with Sting and Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe, especially,
Yes.
and all these mainstream people that came into TNA. Christian,
Yeah.
and I remember when he won the NWA World Title for the first time from Jeff Jarrett, at one of those pay-per-views, and I remember being so happy and
You
elated
know,
because I'm like, Jeff Jarrett's not the champion anymore. The cool guy is, you know?
you knew you could rely on AJ Styles when they threw together um him versus Kurt Angle with like 5 days notice for the Genesis pay-per-view in 2010. And
Yeah.
what a shocker. They had a banger once again.
And
For the Royal Rumble in 2016, I watched it live and I was expecting AJ Styles. And when he came out, that was probably one of the greatest markouts of all time. And my friend who was watching with me looked at me and said, who's AJ Styles? I remember turning over to them and going, who's AJ Styles? AJ Styles is one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. He has been tearing it up in Japan the past year or so. He carried a company on his back for 10 plus years. And there was a rumor he was coming to WWE, and he is my favorite fucking wrestler in the world. That's all that person needed to hear to become a fan.
he really is the best.
And when
He
he
is.
came to WWE, I immediately, the minute the show ended, I pre ordered that first AJ Styles shirt. Was so excited when it came in. AJ Styles is the only wrestler I've ever ordered a piece of merch from TNA Shop. He's just, man, I fucking love AJ Styles. And it just
Hey,
hit me really hard. And now that we're done gushing about his career, oh, I mean, one more story because I love talking about these retirement
yeah.
stories. When he won the WWE Championship from Jinder Mahal on that episode of SmackDown,
Oh,
I
it made
remember
me
what I
so
was doing.
happy.
I
Yeah.
was in a production of Spam-A-Lot, and I was watching SmackDown, and I wanted to watch this particular episode live because he was fighting for the championship, and I just had this feeling in my gut he was going to win it. And I remember looking at the clock and going, it was like 5 minutes to 7. I had to be there at 7:30. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be late if I don't leave right now. And I said, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna watch till the end of this match.
There
And
you
it
go.
ended like 10 minutes after 7. And I go, hell yeah, Styles won. I go, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I immediately jumped in my car, barely made it to rehearsal. And when I got there, I go, that was fucking worth it just to watch Styles win the title.
I so that episode I actually did not watch live. I remember I think I was at college or something. I must have been in class. And I was sitting towards the back and I knew that this was a pre-taped show and I knew that AJ was going for the belt. And this is really lame, but I was constantly refreshing the live feed of the spoilers and I'm like, did AJ win? Did AJ win? Did AJ win? And then I see that he did. He see, and I'm like, okay, number one, awesome. AJ's the champion again. Number two, it's off of Jinder Mahal. Thank goodness. And number three, I gotta watch that match. You
How
know,
dare you
so
insult the modern day Maharaja? Anywho, we have to talk
sorry.
about the aftermath of this match. It's very important and it's
AJ's
raising a
done.
lot of questions.
AJ's done. I know what he teased. I know what he teased. Um, but I feel like with what he said in interviews and like how I mean, I don't want to say he's being discreet about his status, but Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't post on social media a ton, but when he does, you translate it over and it's like, "Thank you, AJ. We knew you were going to be finished at the Rumble." And I'm like, it's we were seeing his retirement tour play out before our eyes. He had one last match with John Cena at Crown Jewel, which was arguably match of the year last year. You
Yeah.
had that match with Shinsuke a couple weeks ago on Saturday Night's Main Event. You have this match with Gunther, and you know, a throwaway World Tag Team title reign with Dragon Lee notwithstanding. This was, the last rodeo for the Phenomenal One, and I'll play devil's advocate here for a second. When he put the gloves back on and did the salute, I'm like, that's cool. He's walking out triumphant, but a lot of people are, I feel like there's a good chunk of the fan base who might be reading into it a little bit too much. And if a wrestler says they're done, my instinct, especially after John Cena, is to believe them. But I will say, out of the three people on Gunther's kill list, so to speak, AJ Styles is definitely the least likely to stick to his word. And
Yeah.
and that's crazy considering Goldberg's also on that list, and you never know what the fuck is going to come out of that guy's mouth next.
We
But
thought Goldberg was done in 2017. The motherfucker went on 8 more years and won 2 more world titles after that.
yeah,
And
and
I'm
he
just
was
like, what the fuck?
and he was begging for a retirement match because he felt like he deserved one. And I'm like,
Motherfucker, you were the world champion and put over Brock Lesnar in 2017 in a match that I look back at very fondly. If that's not a proper send up, I don't know what the fuck you were expecting, bro. A parade?
yeah,
You got
no.
to cut your farewell speech in front of a live crowd. And yeah, it wasn't televised, but it was a hell of a lot better than what you got on Saturday Night's Main Event.
Now, with all this in mind, AJ Styles, we're not going to see him in WWE again. That's for darn sure. We're not going to see him have another match in WWE. And you know what? After talking about it and thinking about it more and more, especially with some of the points that were made on previous podcasts with the world title scene the way it is, AJ Styles just has no place in it anymore. It is so freaking crowded. CM Punk, Roman, Seth, uh, Cody, Drew, all those guys. I feel like Hunter would put the title on all of them before AJ. Um,
So what we're alluding to is we didn't go into detail exactly, but after the match, AJ Styles looked like he was going to do what every wrestler does when they retire.
take the gloves
He
off, put them in the middle
took
of the ring.
he started taking his gloves off. He was about to put them in the center of the ring, and then he put them back on and immediately posted the crowd. Now, I am not on a particular side of this fence. I don't want to look into it too much. I'm just gonna say if AJ Styles does turn up in TNA, if he does turn up in AEW, if he does
Oh, I'll
turn
mark
up in
out.
Japan,
I'll
I
mark
won't be
out.
surprised. I won't be surprised. And I'm not going to sit here and say, what the fuck? You said you were done. He's done in WWE for sure. If he wants to have another match in New Japan, if he wants to have one last match in TNA, by all means, I'll be all for it. I just look at that and I'm just go. It's just like it's like what AJ Styles said on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. Never say never. Now, is he going to be wrestling in like 2029? No. I think when the clock strikes midnight, December 31st, 2026, AJ Styles is done being a professional wrestler. Do
Yeah.
I expect it? No. Will I be surprised? No. So we'll see. Like, it's February.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's also got four beautiful children to attend to and live lives with. And Wendy, it's just one of those things, like he has to set his priorities for his family, which is totally understandable.
Oh,
I
yeah.
totally get it. And,
And what
see,
does every wrestler
sets aside more time for classic video games and raging on Up Up Down Down's channel, you know?
now, another thing I'm sure AJ Styles wants is what does every wrestler wish to do with their career? Retire on their terms. No
Yep.
wrestler wants to. I mean, it's a shame like what happened to Big E. It's a shame what happened to Edge the first time around or Brian Danielson the first time around. To be injured to the point where you didn't get to retire on your own terms. A life told you when you were going to retire. And I
I
think a lot of these wrestlers are retiring when they can.
A lot, yeah. I mean, not to get too morbid, Owen Hart wanted to do that too,
Yeah.
but lo and behold, look what happened. So AJ is getting out while he can, and he is making time for his family. And you know what? You got to respect that. You got to respect
Yeah.
that decision. Now, I'm not saying I won't mark the fuck out if I see him in AEW. Like, I won't mark the fuck out. I'm not saying I won't mark the fuck out if I see him wrestle in TNA one more time, but it's like I gotta, I gotta have that closure, you know? It's like life is not worth, going through just living in constant denial,
Yeah.
you know?
Or like, what
It's
ifs?
mm-hmm.
What ifs are my biggest fear in life. I never want to go through life saying, what if? So take that chance.
Throw
Okay, let's talk about AEW for a second. If AJ Styles were to turn up in AEW, there were only two people I ever have interest in him wrestling: Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega. That's it. I don't
Yep,
want to see him wrestle anybody else. You know what? I'm going to say it. Don't want to see him wrestle Swerve Strickland. Don't want to see him wrestle MJF. Omega, Ospreay. Those are the
that's it.
only people I will accept.
That's it.
Now, I'm also seeing a lot of people say, what? AJ Styles, what is he going to do? Sign a 6 month contract with AEW and that's it? And I'm like, do you guys realize people make appearances for AEW without a contract all the fucking time? Mystico's not signed to AEW. He's wrestled there. Will Ospreay wrestled matches when he was still in New Japan. Why is this such a crazy concept to people that AJ Styles can't come in for a match without a contract? So fucking what? They don't need to sign him. That doesn't make any sense. Like that's just illogical to me.
Yeah,
That's dumb. That's a dumb thought.
but I mean, thank you so much, AJ Styles, for being a constant source of um entertainment and joy and just fun. And I hope that you can explore the Earth that is as flat as you think it is.
Damn, you stole my bit. I was gonna say, AJ Styles, we love you. You're one of the greatest pro wrestlers. I hope one day you realize that the gay community is not coming for you. They're
no,
not coming for your guns. They're not coming for your family. They're just kind of just there existing. I hope one day you can accept that.
yeah. Um, I'm gonna miss that man. I'm gonna miss that man. But yeah,
I
four and three
that
quarter stars on that match. That was
yeah,
awesome.
man. Not gonna lie, I needed some time to recover from that, and it's a damn shame. This is the match that I needed to be recovered with because that took a lot out of me. That didn't take the wind out of my sails, but it's kind of a gut punch.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Um,
It's
I texted Zach like at 1 in the morning after I watched this match with one thing and one thing only. That scene from Breaking Bad where Jesse is screaming, "You can't keep getting away with this, Gunther. You can't keep getting away with this. You can't."
mm-mm,
Now, while
mm-mm.
you introduce this next match, I need to grab a frosty beverage from the fridge.
Do it, man. So we got for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre. Yes, you heard me right. Drew McIntyre is defending against Sami Zayn. Yes, the man who we constantly said was constantly getting pushed to the side, and the man who we kept saying he has to win the title or he looks like a chump compared to Cody Rhodes. He does win the title in that three stages of hell match in Berlin with a little bit of inadvertent assistance from returning Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre escapes that steel cage. He wins the title. Cody Rhodes is kind of gypped out of it. And Drew McIntyre puts a clause in the contract that they signed that Cody does not get an automatic rematch, which, should be the case for every WWE superstar because there are no automatic rematches anymore. But there is instead a brief little tournament on SmackDown, culminating in a fatal four-way match the week before on Saturday night's main event to decide who would get the title shot against Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. Saturday night's main event was in Montreal. Sami Zayn is in that fatal four-way. The Royal
With
Rumble,
Randy Orton, Trick Williams,
yes,
and
who we'll talk about. And
who else was in that?
Damian
And
Priest.
Damian Priest. Thank you, thank you.
So of course, writings on the wall. Royal Rumble's in Saudi Arabia. Saturday night's main event is in Montreal. Of fucking course, Sami Zayn's gonna win this match. And he goes in as a folk hero, a Muslim going into Saudi Arabia, challenging Drew for the title. Um, and it's a very good match. I will agree with Tomas on that front. These two, I think, work very well together. They've had many
Uh,
matches in the past. Drew McIntyre has beaten Sami Zayn every single time. Um,
11-0. The
the
fact that Drew McIntyre knows that number off the top of his head just proves what a fucking dastardly heel he is.
He's a
There's two things
savage. He's
I
a
want to talk about.
savage.
I want to talk about both competitors in this match for a second. Drew McIntyre. Oh my God, what a sigh of relief when he won the WWE title. I don't know what
Yep.
caused WWE to make such a massive pivot from Cody Rhodes to Drew McIntyre, but I'm glad they did because I love Cody, but McIntyre is just such a breath of fresh air with the championship. And it looks like the fans are up to their tricks again. Now it's time to turn on Sami Zayn. What am I reading
For
online?
what?
Sami Zayn's a whiny babyface. All he does is go out there and cut whiny promos. I don't want to see him win the championship. He's just a whiny baby. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And what am I seeing during the pre-show? A sea of fans holding up signs with Sami Zayn's face crossed out. And I'm like, what the fuck is the matter with you? You don't deserve Sami Zayn. You don't.
The same guy who you cheered for when he smacked Roman Reigns in the back with that chair at this very same event. And now you're looking at him as some sort of pariah. And I'm like,
Now,
no,
will
I
I
don't buy that
admit,
for a second.
are they kind of dragging out the underdog babyface story with him a little too
Yes,
long? Sure,
yes,
absolutely. I think Sami Zayn should have won the WWE Championship 3 years ago, per se. I don't want to say he's kind of treading the same water as Drew McIntyre, but I swear if we go another year where they don't give Sami Zayn the title and he's just still pushing these promos, I'm not saying that's on him. That's on WWE for just constantly, oh, he's always going to be the underdog that can't win the big one. But you know what? That storyline is fine. You got to have a payoff, whether it
yes.
be Brett, whether it be Benoit, whether it be Danielson, whether it be Cody, whether it be any of those guys. You got to have a payoff. And
Yeah.
I don't think they have a payoff for him in mind right now, which is a damn shame.
So these two, like I said, they work very well together. And I have a bone to pick with some of these people. First of all, I will say this match is like around 3.5, 3 and 3/4 star range. I thought it
Oh,
was
yeah.
extremely solid as a wrestling match. There's
Was it
nothing,
fucking fantastic? No, look what they had to
no,
follow.
very good, very good. Nothing really wrong technically speaking with the match. Both guys are very good at their jobs as
Yeah,
performers.
they have great chemistry.
These fans on social media I'm seeing are saying Sami Zayn just had his WrestleMania 39 moment where Cody Rhodes lost to Roman Reigns just barely. Um, and oh yeah, no, Sammy's gonna win the Rumble next year and win the title in Saudi Arabia at WrestleMania 43. And I'm thinking that's not a bad idea. And I constantly was saying over the past year or so that the only validating reason to have the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia was to have Sami win the Rumble match and go on to Vegas. But obviously, Sami's challenging for the belt. That's not happening tonight. But and I'm still not saying that that idea is off the table. But but compared to the Cody Rhodes story, this Sami Zayn underdog story comes off so lame by comparison. And you want to know why? Especially towards the end of this match, Drew McIntyre dominated this man.
Yeah, he did.
Sami Zayn was made to look like a big fat loser
It's
because Drew
kind of like,
McIntyre takes him out to ringside. He is whooping this poor man all over this country. He power bombs him through the announce table, hits him with one claymore, and then he pins him. And
yeah,
that's
just to
it.
be a bitch too. Like he
Yep.
looks at him and just like he sets up his kill shot right then and there. I feel like they had this match just for the novelty of Sami Zayn getting a title shot in the Royal Rumble
In
in
it
Saudi
in
Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Yeah,
Now,
no,
if you look at
specifically.
what they're doing on SmackDown, it looks like fingers are pointing towards maybe Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams at WrestleMania, the wild
I
veteran
wouldn't mind
versus the
that.
cocky, yeah,
I
the
wouldn't
cocky upstarter.
I
That's
wouldn't
a
mind that,
perfectly,
especially because Sammy missed Mania last year for some
yeah,
reason.
for no reason.
No
Now,
reason.
I could see the story they're going with this. You could just have Trick Williams come out and be like, you had your shot at the Royal Rumble and you lost again, and you're nothing more than you washed up, never was. And like, you could create a fun little storyline there, but it just makes Sami Zayn look bad that you gave him the big championship match in Riyadh. You had him lose, and there's no payoff. There's no fucking, I'm going to say this right now, and I'm not going to say names because I don't want to call people out. I don't want to see a fucking fatal four way at WrestleMania. I don't. A fatal four way for a world championship is the stupidest idea ever, and you have WrestleMania 2000 to thank for that. No more than a triple threat. Look at your great triple threat match you've had in the past. Your Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Your Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. Your Bryan Danielson versus Batista versus Randy Orton. Fantastic main events. Fatal four ways for a world title WrestleMania are fucking stupid, and it's just an excuse to get everyone in the match. And you have The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, and The Big Show to thank for that. Because of that match,
Wow.
you could never convince me a fatal four way at the main event of WrestleMania is a good idea.
And we'll probably see one within the next 5 years or so, just because you
Oh,
went on
yeah,
that tirade. So,
I'm
um,
sure, but this is no, because I heard that last year. I heard it the year before. And if any of those, I heard it's going to be Cody, Punk, Reigns, and Rollins for the WWE
no,
title. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. I
no.
heard it's going to be just so many iterations of that. Lesnar, Reigns, Cody, and somebody else throw in there. Randy Orton. I'm like, that's a fucking stupid idea. Like, you don't, and that's because that's how it feels. It just feels like, oh, these are the big names. They all have to be wrestling for the world title. No,
And you know what?
absolutely not.
Mania season's wide open with this WWE Championship right now, especially because Drew McIntyre won the title in the manner that he did. And I'm like, you know what? I've been begging Triple H to do something different aside from Cody Rhodes walking into Mania as champion. And I'm like, cool, cool. Let's have fun now. Like
Because you
it's
look
not,
at,
and I'm not saying it as a knock on Cody because I love my quarterback, but it's like it would have been such a boring choice to have Cody just walk in as the hero champion again.
yeah,
You know?
especially with how they've been booking him since SummerSlam. Like, this is just a nice, welcome breath of fresh air.
Yeah, and
Because,
it's like I said, it's wide open, especially because the Elimination Chamber in Chicago is going to decide Drew McIntyre's opponent, and I have an idea for that, which I'll pitch in the next match. But
now to go
um,
back to what I was saying real quick, the four-way concept that I hate, I call that the WrestleMania 2000 effect. The triple threat idea, I call that the Bryan Danielson effect because the
yeah,
way people have gotten their ways into world championship matches at WrestleMania, you talk about how Shawn Michaels got into the triple threat with Benoit and Triple H, and Benoit's role in that match. You talk about how Danielson got involved in Mania 30. You talk about how Danielson got involved in the Mania 37 main event. You can
yeah.
have so much fun with your storytelling with the three-way. I see where they're going with the WWE Championship and Mania right now. Just, you know, I'm gonna alter this saying just a little. You know how the old saying goes, uh, I think it's two's company, but three's a crowd. I'm gonna say three's company, but four's a crowd. You don't want a
You
crowd in your main
think
event in Mania.
you still think it's going to be Drew, Cody, and Jacob in the triple threat at
Yeah,
Mania?
Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and I have
And I wouldn't mind that.
I have my theory about that as we get into the men's rumble. But this match was fine. It was solid. By the end of it, I started questioning why are we having this match to begin with. Now Drew McIntyre is 12-0 against Sami Zayn. The only way I can see Sami Zayn getting involved in this match, as you just said, you substitute Fatu for Zayn. Cody and Fatu can have their blow off at the chamber, but then again, I think Cody's going to be in the chamber, or they have some big fucking match on SmackDown. But even then, I don't think that's a good idea because I don't think Fatu
Well,
should
they're
be losing to
both
Cody.
they're both in the triple threat qualifying match.
Yeah.
So how the
Okay.
fuck do
So
you
one of
get
them is good.
how the fuck do you get both of them in the chamber?
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, you could have
Like,
a big fucking blow off match on SmackDown, but like I just said, Fatu shouldn't be losing to Cody. That's how you kill that man's momentum. But we'll talk about both men very soon. Solid match. I agree. 3.5.
with
Um,
with
interested?
this next
How are we going
match.
to be? Yeah.
Yeah, with this
The
next match.
men's Royal Rumble match.
30 minutes to get as many pinfalls as you can.
The match we all look forward to every single year at the beginning of the year. And somehow it disappoints us every year because every year people are expecting they're expecting Eddie Guerrero to come back from the dead. They're expecting Sting to be in there. They're expecting SpongeBob SquarePants to be there. They're expecting that lone penguin that Donald Trump thought was from Greenland to be in there. They're expecting
They're expecting Barack Obama to be in the Royal
they're
Rumble.
expecting Barack Obama to be in there. they're expecting fucking Thanos to be in there.
Yeah,
Like I can go on and
yeah,
on
see,
all night.
we're seeing all the memes of
They're
like Barack
expecting Doctor Doom to be in there.
Joe Biden has declared for the Royal Rumble. Like all these stupid memes, but
Yeah, they're
um
expecting fucking the Demogorgon to be into the Royal Rumble.
Mark Nash explains the rules again in case you forgot what the rules were from the
In case
previous
for some
match.
reason you were taking a shit while he was explaining the women's
In
match.
case for some reason you weren't paying attention while he was explaining the rules.
In
Number
case you
one,
were too busy watching AEW Dark on your phone in the middle of the show, man, who would do that? Who the
yikes.
fuck would do that? Not me.
Number one is Obafemi. This man was
Hell yeah.
he's called up to the main roster, and I said it last month, but this man has infinite aura. And you fucking Brock Lesnar this guy right to the top of the food chain. Like,
Um, I was watching this with my best friend who didn't know anything about NXT. When I was marking out for Obafemi being number one, he just sat there and looked at the screen and said, "This man looks like he could do some damage." And I'm like, "Yeah,
yep,
goddamn right he can. You
yep.
are in for a treat."
He is the ruler, a former, I think he was a defensive lineman, like an edge rusher for the University of Alabama.
Oh yeah,
Didn't declare for the drafts. Instead, he went to WWE. And he's a freaking brick shithouse,
exactly.
310
Do the Obafemi
pounds.
walk. Do the Obafemi walk. That's how I walk around the house now.
It's better than this, right?
Oh God,
It's better than the Heidenreich walk.
want to go
But
back and
anyway,
punch 10-year-old self me in the face.
yikes. But we get kind of a glimpse into what I think could be a WrestleMania main event one day because at number two you have Braun Breaker, accompanied by Paul Heyman, and this pissed a lot of people off. But for some reason I didn't necessarily mind it because it was part of a long arching story. The masked balaclava guy who helped Braun Breaker win War Games attacks him
Yeah,
this time.
but before that, how the fuck did we get here? Because it's so convoluted. So we talked about it. Braun Breaker failed to win the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk, and
Stupid.
Braun Breaker gets pissed
Braun Breaker should
and
have won.
he goes crazy and he shoves Adam Pearce down. So Adam Pearce suspends him. Paul Heyman lets Pearce know you put your hands on him first, so you're in some trouble now, buddy. So instead of having fun with this, instead of suspending Breakers so we can't be in the Rumble, what do? They do what they do with all suspension storylines. They bring him back the very next week and they lift the suspension. He gets put in the Royal Rumble match with all the other Vision members, and then on the pre-show, Paul Heyman gets pissed because it is announced that Braun Breaker is going to be number two. And he's saying, Pierce, you rigged this. You're setting Breaker up for failure. Pierce insists that this is a random drawing. He had nothing to do with it. So that's why Breaker's number two. And as you said, the Masked Man from Survivor Series is back. And this time he attacks Braun Breaker and he curb stomps him into the mat.
Yep.
Who else does the curb stomp?
Uh, Great Grayson Waller as a placeholder, right?
uh, I don't know what you're talking about. Grayson Waller was wrestling the pre-show. He was pretty beat from that.
So anyway,
Um,
Braun Breaker doesn't know where he is. I mean, his chances of winning just went down drastically to about a 17%. And Obafemi clotheslines this man over the top rope pretty much immediately. And Paul Heyman is beside himself. Braun Breaker still looks like he's like on another planet at this point, has no idea where he is. And Obafemi is ruling the ring and he's walking around like this, like this. And I'm like, this is going to be like a 2020 situation, isn't it? Because
but
Obafemi's in the ring all by himself, but Braun Breaker tossed out like within 10 seconds of being in the ring.
I
Who
mean, that
had
makes
that on?
Obafemi look like a beast.
Who
That's how
had?
I was looking at it.
But Braun Breaker was attacked though, so I mean, you have a bit of an asterisk there. So if Obafemi just squashed Braun Breaker, then yeah, I would agree with you. But if this does not play out like I think it's going to, then this spot, yeah, I'll be a little bit more upset about it in hindsight. But right now, I'm like, if this does lead to him and Seth at WrestleMania, if Seth is ready and Braun Breaker's hernia isn't as serious as it initially was thought, then yeah, that's fine. You
I
know,
mean, it plays out with the story. I think it was a good way for WWE to cover after that shitty whole Vision situation. that's been dominating the year on Monday Night Raw. But number three, we have Solo Sikoa, one half of the new WWE Tag Team Champions, as he and Tama Tonga defeated the Wyatt Six a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. We then have Rey Mysterio,
Dude.
who we
And
didn't think was going to be in this match.
and this is where the Saudi Arabia crowd being weird comes into play because this man, I think, got the biggest pop of the entire Rumble field.
Right?
Like, I swear to God, yeah, Rey Mysterio got the loudest reaction out of anybody. And I'm like, Rey Mysterio's almost done nothing of note
I
lately.
mean, big pop for someone who was in there for 3 minutes.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then just to rub fucking salt in the wound, next we have the Bulgarian brute Rusev, who lasts 30 seconds. What the fuck?
And Obafemi tossed everybody out.
I mean,
Everybody's
that's good
gone.
for Femi, but you don't do that to Rusev on Rusev Day.
Every
I'm
day
starting to
is
regret him coming back to WWE. Treated like a fucking piece of trash.
you know who else is might be starting to regret coming back to WWE?
Matt Cardona.
I'm not finished. Say I'm done. I'm not finished. Say I'm done. I'm not fit. No, okay. Yeah,
Cardona,
so
I hope you're happy with your decision. I really hope you're happy with your decision. From King of the Indies, from King of the Deathmatch, to being tossed out like it's fucking 2012 in 55 seconds. Hey, he lasted 30 seconds longer than Rusev.
now before we get into the next entrant, can I talk to you about Matt Cardona for a second? Because this guy, ever since he very fair and square lost the internet championship to Shotzi Blackheart at BTW Know Your Enemy, um, he's had a pretty up and down rest of his year. He wrestled a death match with Shotzi, and then he comes in as a surprise entrant in the Last Time Is Now tournament, wrestling LA Knight. Actually, no, that was his evil corporate twin, Zack Ryder, doing that. But then Matt Cardona does actually get a WWE contract, and he wrestles Kit Wilson on SmackDown on the first episode of SmackDown of 2026. And he's kind of been floundering since then. He had a slot in the WWE title tournament on the way to Saturday night's main event for a shot at this show. But here he is. He is just one of Obafemi's victims in the Royal
I
Rumble
mean,
match.
on one hand, I mean, it's Matt Cardona. What are they really going to do with him in the current landscape of 2026? But it's
A
just kind of
lot.
sad.
You could do a
It's
lot with
just
him.
it's just sad that Cardona got released in 2020. He makes this almost, I don't want to say as big as Cody, but like a Cody Rhodes like comeback on the Indies. Excuse me. And then, he's begging to come back to WWE, and he's
Right.
back in WWE. I see this appearance in the Rumble, and I just think, what is this, 2018 all over again? He's right back to doing the same shit he was doing in his first tenure with WWE. So, and all, no sarcasm here. Honestly, I hope Cardona is happy with his decision. I mean, I hope WWE does something with him.
Hmm.
I mean, I have abandoned all hope of this guy ever winning the WWE Championship, but you do something with
You
him.
never know. I've seen crazier things happen, like John Cena turning heel.
I
So
mean, I'd be thrilled. Don't get me wrong.
I
I'd be
would
happy. I
too.
just, I just see the trajectory of
Definitely.
him. I'm like, shit, is this guy going to get future endeavored in
Yeah.
2028?
I mean he can't win the internet title anymore because that belongs to Shotzi.
Yeah, no, unless he challenges her to a sanctioned match and wins it back fair and square. Like, listen, we saw the haunted house match. Shotzi threw the title at him and see here, take your fucking title back. But that wasn't an actual title win. That was like a damn here, fine. If you're gonna get you to quit crying. Up next
Yeah.
is Damian Priest, former World
All
Heavyweight
rise
Champion.
for the rock star.
And man, he has been absolutely locked in this feud with Aleister Black for the past, what, fucking 6 months. They've
That's
done
right.
absolutely nothing with him since then. And it's like, I still like Priest,
With
but it's just
no
like,
no pay-per-view payoff, nothing like that.
no, I'm literally sitting here at the point. It's like, damn, you're not doing anything with Priest. Why not just run it back at Mania and do him and Aleister Black again?
Might as
I mean,
well.
I'm all for a very long and drawn out feud, but that was shit. We were comparing it to Rusev and Sheamus. This was like twice the length of Rusev and Sheamus.
He's been doing a whole lot of nothing since losing the World Heavyweight Championship. And at this point, when he's entering the ring, every single person that has followed Obafemi into the Royal Rumble match has been eliminated by the ruler. So I was not very high on hopes for Damian Priest in this situation. But interestingly enough, at number 8, out comes the Iron Man of this year's Royal Rumble, the bouncy boy, Javon Evans. Now, I have a question for you, Tomas. Just enlighten me for a second. Ever since this man has been called up to the main roster and like just in general with NXT, what is one part of this man's gimmick?
I'll tell you a gimmick he stole from Carmelo Hayes.
I mean, what were you thinking?
We're talking about a certain couple numbers that have kind of been sweeping the nation pop culture wise. I think it's
Yeah,
finally dying down, but
thank God, thank God.
yeah,
But
but
he does the 6'7". Yeah, and
yeah,
it's very, I still don't get it. I really don't. And it's brain rot for
it
children.
is. But
Uh,
I will say it's kind of turned into this adult, not adult. What am I talking about? It's kind of turned into this new age version of Punch Buggy. And for all you children out there that don't know what Punch Buggy is, when we were on road trips as a kid, this was before we had, oh my God, I sound like such an old man. This is before we had iPhones and then, shit to listen to. If you weren't reading a book or listening to the radio, you would be chatting with your sibling, and if you saw a punch buggy and whatever the license plate said, you would punch your sibling in the shoulder and say, punch buggy, Illinois, punch buggy, Florida. And I feel like that's what it's turned into for me. I see those numbers in everyday life and I go, oh shit, there they are. I turn into Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen like, oh shit, there it is. There it is.
yeah, but my issue with this is you have the 6'7" guy coming out at number 8. You seriously could not have this man come out either one or two entries earlier
What
to
makes me
really
mad about
like,
this is that I feel like there is a certain trend of people doing certain things, it gets over, and then other people take those. It's kind of like hey, I told the joke, but then my friend said it louder and he got the credit. Carmelo Hayes was doing it first, and I thought he was doing it a lot funnier. And then everyone's saying, "Oh, Javon Evans, he did the 6'7" thing." I'm like, "Well, Carmelo Hayes did it first." And then
oh,
I saw a guy on AEW doing it. I'm like, "Okay, okay, can you at least credit Carmelo Hayes?"
well,
Like, am I
and
really getting
then
upset about this? What's wrong with me?
and then Javon Evans wrestles Gunther on a house show. He does this. He does a plancha. Gunther catches him with a chop, and then Gunther does one of these to mock him. And I'm like, well,
And you're gonna sit there and say Gunther is boring. Anywho, in all seriousness, Javon Evans, this kid is barely 21 years old. When he goes to
yep,
WrestleMania, think about this. Last year, when he was in the developmental system, and if they made the trip to Las Vegas, he couldn't even go inside the casinos.
nope.
This man is a fetus,
This
and
man was
he
born
has
in 2004, and
that
he was
is
a staple in Deadlock Pro Wrestling under the name Jay Malachi. He was a DPW world champion at one point, a very young world champion.
and
So
the special thing about Javon Evans is wrestlers like him, they're a dime a dozen. Everybody can do a shooting star press. Anybody can do a 450 splash. Anybody can do a corkscrew plancha. This kid really lives up to his gimmick, and he is bouncy. If you,
the nameplate when he came out even said that boy is bouncy.
and, oh my God, I'm sorry. And if you go back and watch some of his stuff in NXT, this kid can pull off stuff that I would love to see him in the ring with Pac. I would love to see him in the ring with
Oh
Ricochet,
God.
even though those guys would probably start punching each other to death. But
I'd like to see him in the ring with Kofi Kingston.
yes,
Like,
and this kid, his ceiling is so high, and he is
yes,
so young.
definitely.
And I've heard people, this may be a stretch, but I think they're just talking about age wise. I've heard people say that this guy has a Randy Orton ceiling to him. And I'm like,
This kid has such a long career ahead of him.
yeah.
And I can't wait to see what he does with WWE on the main roster, on the
But at
Raw
the same
roster.
time, he's very, very, very young. And that means he has a lot of time to make a lot of mistakes.
Well, that
Mistakes
means,
are okay, but he
yeah,
can't make, like, there are certain mistakes this kid can't afford to make. And I think a lot of that has to do with his age.
yeah,
Don't go running your mouth. Don't go, don't tug on Superman's cape is probably my
yeah.
number one piece of advice for him.
He's
He has a lot of time to fuck up.
21 years old. So that means in this landscape, Triple H is going to wait 20 years to put the World Heavyweight Championship on him. But
Oh gosh, do
anyway,
you mean to tell me in 2046 at what? WrestleMania 62, we're gonna see
yes,
Javon Evans winning the world championship
for the
in
first
probably
time.
what, like a cybernetic stadium on the moon.
Jesus. I mean, yeah, no, don't put it past WWE to have the first ever WrestleMania on the moon, you know?
Remember that random WrestleMania crossover with the Jetsons? I feel like Vince McMahon was looking at that
I
going,
forgot
"Oh
about
yeah, this is
that.
this is gonna be us one day. We're gonna have a robot referee, and
Oh,
we're gonna
that's
have WrestleMania
weird.
on the moon."
Okay, well, I know you loved this next entrant. Saudi Arabia probably didn't as much because they barely reacted to this man. But number nine is Mr. Iguana
Hell
from
yeah.
Triple A, and Wade Barrett has a goddamn near conniption and meltdown on commentary because he fucking hates La Yesca. He fucking hates the puppet, and Michael Cole constantly, very casually, is telling him he's real. Mr.
Yeah.
Iguana told me he's real. And think of it like this. If you don't watch AAA, if you don't know who Mr. Iguana is, he is basically what you would get if you cross Gold Dust with Santino Marella and Luchasaurus. Like it's
Yes.
an amalgamation of all three. Um, and it's very silly and it's very over. And I know there were some people who were upset at this man's presence in the Royal Rumble match, but I'm like, why not? Why not?
If
You know?
if you don't like Mr. Iguana, then you must not like Danhausen.
If you don't like Mr. Iguana, you must not like Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
know, I
Comedy.
think nowadays in this current landscape of professional wrestling, a lot of fans take this shit too seriously. And if you want to go back to like the 90s and the 80s, look at the gimmicks we had in like the 80s. We had a man named Junkyard Dog that wore a dog collar and pretended to pee on people. He acted like a
Yeah,
dog.
he
You
did.
had the Mountie, who was a Canadian police officer. You had
A
uh,
clown.
a clown. You had Doink the Clown,
An
who was
evil
one of the most
clown.
intriguing characters in
You had a
WWE.
you had a garbage man. You had
A Repo Man,
you had a repo man.
Adam Bomb.
You had a Connecticut blue blood.
Yeah,
You had an earthquake. You had
a Typhoon.
yes.
You had a Tugboat.
You had a tugboat. Oh my God, I forgot about tugboat. Man,
So it's
that's
like,
Uncle Fred.
I understand. Shit, Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Rednecks, you
look,
know?
I understand. I love um, pile drivers and blood and triple, quadruple 450 splashes as much as the next guy. But you have to remember at the end of the day, this is pro wrestling. And sometimes you need a little silly man in face paint that
Yeah,
talks in the third person and says he's 100% evil, even though he's a good guy. You
yeah,
need a guy who appears out of nowhere when you say his name. You need a guy dressed, painted from head to toe in green face paint who carries around a stuffed iguana. It's called fun, guys. If
it's
you don't
called
like Mr.
fun.
Iguana, then you must not have liked Colt Cabana.
And you have the comedy spot of the entire match where Damian Priest does the South of Heaven choke slam on Mr. Iguana and La Yesca at the same time. Like,
Now,
take that stick out of your ass, guys. It's wrestling.
now, if we want to talk about something that bugs me, as someone who watched Triple Mania, Yayeska was murdered by Demonito, who
Hmm.
is a mini version of Finn Balor. How is he here?
Oh, we'll get to him.
That man
We'll
was murdered. I mean, that iguana was murdered.
we'll
Like
get to we'll
Demonito
get to
ripped
Finn
him to
Balor.
shreds.
We'll get to Finn Balor. Where the fuck is his push? Apparently, we're finally getting it.
We're gonna get that tag match at Mania, right? Finn Balor and Demonito versus La Yesca and Mr. Iguana.
I think Finn Balor is going to do something a bit more important with his time at WrestleMania. But
Also, quick congrats to Mr. Iguana and Lola Vice for winning the AAA Mixed Tag Team titles. That was pretty
yes,
cool. Get some belts
There
on
you
them.
go. There you go. Probably get some tow truck drivers in there because you're talking about AAA. But anyway, number 10 is Trick Williams, main roster staple now. And this is a very over wrestler. You know, you want to talk about somebody who has endeared himself to the fans in the developmental system. The whoop that trick chant that they do to his music. Like the only thing missing is Booker T as his hype man during whoop that trick during his entrance to do what? Uh-huh. I
Oh
like
yeah,
it. You
I
know?
like it. Now here's the thing: we can't have that because they need Booker T and NXT to poorly sing Joe Hendry's theme song or make inappropriate comments about Stephanie Vaquer when she was there.
Well, Stephanie Vaquer is on the main roster now, so there's no excuse to put Booker T as a main roster commentator at this point.
Oh,
Um,
but also again, he needs to poorly sing Joe Hendry's theme song.
yeah, Trick Williams is so over though. Like,
Not only is he over, he's very high with the company because this man has been on the main roster for a month now. He's already interacting with guys like Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest.
yep.
They have plans for this guy. And that's what I want to see. If you're going to bring someone up to the main roster, have a fucking plan for them. It looks like they have a plan for Trick Williams. I sure
Yes.
as hope they have a plan for Obafemi.
Yep.
When you
Yep.
guys bring guys up like Javon Evans, when Joe Hendry drops the NXT title and you bring him up, other people in NXT right now, or other people that are getting prepared to get brought up, you need to have a plan for them. They can't
I
flounder like Carmelo Hayes. They
I can't
can't, yeah.
I can't wait to see what those plans are. I mean, it's not like Braun Breaker is floundering, but a man that probably should have won the World Heavyweight Championship, all things concerned. But it is what it is.
I'm,
I
I'm
can't
just
really
going to say
complain.
right now, with the current trajectory, we are either looking at Trick Williams versus Randy Orton or Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. And that is one
Yep.
hell of a WrestleMania debut, especially when you've been on the main roster for what, 3 months by the time Mania rolls around?
Tell me about it, dude. At
Now, those
number
are fucking plans.
You have some amazing representation in here from the African American wrestling community here for sure. Obafemi, Trick Williams, Javon Evans. They add to it at number 11 with the entrance of Cody Raheem Rhodes.
The fourth black man in history to win
For,
the WWE Championship.
yeah. He ended racism, guys. I'm sorry. That's I can't live that down, and I must remind you all every single time Cody Rhodes ended racism effectively in this
And I
country.
don't know what you guys are talking about. When Malcolm X was delivering his speeches fighting for civil rights, Cody was there.
Yeah, Martin
When
Luther
Martin
King's
Luther King,
I Have a Dream
yeah,
speech, Cody Rhodes was one of his henchmen.
during all the civil rights protests, not only was Cody there, Edge was there too.
When Rosa Parks was fighting for her seat on the bus, Cody Rhodes was a passenger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
Edge just missed the bus. That's why he wasn't on the photo.
there you go.
I'm not going to let anyone forget about civil rights activist Edge. Never.
Yeah, so Cody's gonna last a long time, and this is his first Rumble appearance since he won his second Rumble a couple of years ago. He went back to back, so he hasn't been eliminated from the Royal Rumble in a little over a decade here. So
On a scale from 1 to 10, how nervous were you for Cody to win this? I would say mine was like about a 5.
I wouldn't have cared if he won. I love Cody and all, but I'm like I wouldn't have cared. I didn't know who was gonna win this thing. So
I went into this Rumble not saying who I wanted to win. I went into this Rumble saying who I didn't want to win. That's not a very good sign. Up next, we have El Grande Americano. And if you haven't seen El Grande Americano on TV lately, it's because this man is over like a son of a bitch in AAA.
yes,
We
he
are
is
talking about a made up luchador currently played by a Russian man getting
a
more
German
over
man,
in Mexico.
a
Thank
German
you.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
German. My apologies. Getting more over in Mexico than any other current luchador star.
Ludwig Kaiser,
And he enters the ring, and who follows him after that?
El
The
Grande
original
Americano.
El Grande Americano.
Now this
Who,
is my problem. This is my problem. Sorry to cut you off, and because it still makes me so upset. So you mean to tell me that this Royal Rumble match, when Finn Balor tried to declare for the Royal Rumble on the Raw before, Adam Pearce said, "Sorry, Finn, the Rumble's full. You mean to tell me that there were two El Grande Americanos who already declared, but Finn Balor could not be in the Rumble?
I
Bullshit.
mean, was Adam Pearce
Bullshit.
looking at the run sheet and going, El Grande Americano? You know what else this Rumble needs? Another El Grande Americano.
Bullshit. Absolute
And
bullshit.
now let me tell you, this OG El Grande Americano was so jacked, so much facial hair, so much long hair to the point where I was convinced that was not Chad Gable.
It's never been Chad Gable. Pat McAfee
Same.
said so. It's never been Chad Gable.
I know you can't see me, but I almost spit out my photo when you said that.
That's Chad Gable. No, it's not. That's
and
Chad Gable. No,
and the
it's not.
Americanos, they get in the ring and they do the fucking doink spot
It's
where they're
not even.
mirroring each other.
It's like the Spider-Man spot, and they eliminate each other. Yeah,
And
no,
I'm gonna
well,
let you.
no, Trick Williams, I think eliminated one of them. But Cody then hits a crossroads on Trick and sends him packing to make a whole bunch of the Saudis upset because they loves Trick. You know?
Now, talk about someone who was unceremoniously dumped out of the Rumble. I thought he should have made it. I don't want to say Final Four, but like Final Eight. He should
Yeah,
have been like the one of the last in the field. That was one
make
of
him last
many
40
like
minutes. Yeah,
like there
at
was a lot of
least.
eliminations that were just like without any fanfare, and that was the first one for me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you take this one away because I fucking marked out for this.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure? I'll take it. I'll take it if you want to. Number 14, the screen pops up, the music starts, and the name reads Powerhouse Hobbs. The rumors are true. AEW staple, AEW original, and Bay Area boy, Powerhouse Will Hobbs is in WWE, but he's not going by that name. The glass shatters on the screen, pyro goes off, and you see the name Royce Keys. So this is a phenomenal debut here. And he looks, again, it looks like this man ate Bobby Lashley. He is jacked
Yeah,
out the gills. Absolute unit of a man coming down there. And he actually. So, okay, before I continue, I do have to address this part. I have said in the past that I really hate when established names are changed to something very silly, you know? Like Braun Breaker, I've said many times, is a stupid ass name. You could argue, I could argue that Trick Williams is a dumb name because who in God's green earth would name their kid Trick?
I've
You
seen
know?
weirder names. Just gonna say that now. I've
But
seen weirder names.
and I've seen people that are upset about the Royce Keys name and that he's not going by Powerhouse Hobbs. This is an important name for him because Royce is actually the name of his youngest child, his youngest son. Keys is the maiden name of his late mother.
Exactly.
Let him choose what he wants. Now,
Do
at
I need to
least,
remind everybody that Alexis King chose his name because Alexis was his sister's name and
yep,
King was his mother's maiden name,
yep.
and he has said so many times he doesn't want to be known as Pillman's kid.
No, well, I mean, you could also just say, you could. Man, I wish Braun Breaker had a different name other than fucking Breaker with two
But here's the
Ks.
thing: he breaks things.
Yeah,
What
but
else do you
it's
need to know?
way too on the
What's
fucking
another good
nose.
example? There was another good example. Oh, Michael McGillicuddy. People were wondering why aren't you going by Hennig? I'm like, well, McGillicuddy is his mother's maiden name. He
Well,
wanted to pay tribute to her too.
and then he went by Curtis Axel. He never used the word Henning as his last name,
No,
you
which
know?
I mean, to be fair, Curtis, his dad's name, and Axel, his grandpa's nickname.
Yep. Yeah, well, Curtis
So,
Axel is a badass name, and it sounds like a name. Braun Breaker does not sound like a real
but
name.
he breaks things. You know what else isn't a
I
real
don't
name?
give a
The Big
shit.
Show. You know what else isn't a real name? The Undertaker. You know what
Right.
else isn't a real name? Fuck, I'm gonna go back on my word, Mr. Iguana. You know what else isn't a real name? The
Dan
Blue Meanie.
Danhausen.
You know what else isn't a real name?
CM
Uh,
Punk.
Adam Bomb. You know what else isn't a real name?
Crush.
Junkyard Dog.
Oh my god. You know what else isn't a real name? Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
What?
I don't know, but yeah, no, I'm so thrilled for this man. I don't know if I can speak for Tomas. I'm sure he is like jacked up about this.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It also says a lot too. They could have just debuted this man on NXT, but
no.
no, they debuted him in the Royal Rumble. This
Yep.
one, I have to admit though, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous if he's going to come straight up to the main roster again. Just like I said with Trick Williams, you need to have a plan for him. I don't want
Right.
to see him in a 6 month feud with Sheamus. I don't want to see him in a 6 month feud with Damian Priest. I'm not saying you can't have those types of feuds, but like you alluded to earlier, Damian Priest and Aleister Black suffered because they never got featured on pay-per-view.
Well, he might actually because Royce Keys actually did eliminate Damian Priest from the Royal Rumble. So
I'm just
there's
saying, like,
that.
if you're good, you can't just have him in a feud to be a placeholder.
Hmm.
Have an actual plan for him. If you want him to have a TV feud or not a feud for a championship, that's fine, but it has to mean something because you go
Yes.
back and how many times did Black and Priest fight? They fought in a
Too
regular
many.
match, they fought in a mixed tag match, they fought in a last man standing match, they fought in an ambulance match. Nobody's really talking about that feud because it went on for too long.
Way too many. Yeah. So, I mean, now Royce Keys is probably going to be feuding with Damian Priest for like 8 months going into
Hell,
SummerSlam. But
I'm just gonna say it right now. If we get Royce Keys versus Damian Priest at WrestleMania, I'm all for that shit.
me too. Me too. Debut Royce Keys at WrestleMania against the former World Heavyweight Champion and have him win. And have him
Um,
win.
Help me out here. Has Priest had an Elimination Chamber qualifying match?
I don't know. I
If
don't know.
he does, have Royce Keys cost him.
I know Randy Orton and LA Knight have qualified for the men's chamber. And I know there's a qualifying match with Sami, Cody, and Jacob Fatu on SmackDown. But other than that, like that's all I really know.
See,
Um,
knowing Priest's stature, he's got to have a qualifying match, and
Definitely.
we are starting to get into that season of if you're going to starting some feuds going into Mania, start it now.
Yes.
Start it now. Maybe after Chamber is a little acceptable, but I mean, as I was talking about earlier in the review, I don't know if I did. Maybe I said this off the record, so I'll say it now. It took me a while to realize that last year's Mania was fucking lame. And one of the reasons why it was fucking lame is because they waited to the last second for any of the builds for the matches. The two actual matches I was excited for, not counting the main events, El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, and both of those matches got scrapped due to injury.
Yeah.
This is why you can't wait to the last second. You can't.
Yeah. So anyway, number 15, halfway through the Rumble and representing the Vision, it's Austin Theory, the masked man from Survivor Series who cost CM Punk's team the match. The man who Paul Heyman has coined the pressure. But why is he the pressure? Well, why is he pressuring people?
I'm going to say this now. Theory's
Yeah.
cooked.
Oh,
Theory's cooked.
whoa. Wait, what makes you say that?
If anybody really thinks Theory's going to get a real push out of this, no. You know what he is? He's the fall guy. He's the
He's
JD McDonough of this group.
he's Mark Jindrak.
I Here's the thing. I love Theory. I love
Oh
Theory.
man.
He's a great wrestler. He has a good look. He defends the business like nobody else. I don't want to see Theory fail, but this is what attempt number 4, 5, 6 with him.
Yeah.
I don't see it getting any better for him. You know, he was the last Vince McMahon guy, and I really hate to say it. Vince was his only chance to be a big star in WWE. I don't know if Triple H just doesn't like him. I don't know if it's because Triple H doesn't want any
Man.
Vince guys on his radar, but I mean, I remember when Theory was Evolve champion. That's how I knew him. So when he came to WWE, I knew who he was.
Roman Reigns is a Vince guy. And look where he is.
Well, he's also a merch mover. He's a needle mover.
I
Triple H ain't gonna shut that shit down.
Yeah, yeah. Austin Theory doesn't really move the needle in terms of the merch.
I mean, look at the other guys who were reportedly Vince guys before Triple H came into power. Oh my God, what was his name? Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs was entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
When he got released, he went on record to say Vince McMahon loved me. He was going to use me the minute Triple H came into power. It's like I didn't exist. You know who else was a Vince guy? Omas. When's the last
Yes.
time we saw Omos on
I was
TV?
just about to say, Omos is just dicking around in AAA with Microman.
Which good for him. He's getting exposure and experience, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's that one point where Triple H forgets he's on the payroll. And if I'm Omos, I would fucking ride that shit. It's like, fuck, I'm getting paid to do nothing. I'm getting
Yeah,
paid to go to Japan and Mexico and just chill. Fuck yeah. Like, give me that
there you
paycheck.
go. Omos seems like such a chill guy. I want to meet him.
But
Number,
anywho,
yeah,
Theory, I just feel like people are making a lot of noise about him. But just seeing his booking right now, I'm like, I don't know. I don't see anything coming of this.
yeah, and everybody is saying that his new music reminds them of My Time, which Triple H came out to, and I'm like, what kind of crack are you smoking?
Yeah.
Like, it sounds so generic compared to My Time, which is iconic.
I
Uh,
just I fucking miss A Town Down, the future is now. A
Eight
Town
Town
Down,
down, down,
the original,
Eight
not that
Town
lame
down.
ass version they gave him. Um
A whole
Number
nother
16.
level. Shine like a bezel, burn like a kettle. I'm unforgettable. What they did it, what they never could. Looking in the okay, all right, never mind.
Number 16 is Big Bronson Reed representing
Man,
division.
what's so big about him?
Well, in the great words of Greg, wouldn't you like to know?
He's fat. It's kind
That's
of
fucked up.
a fridge, you know. But number he hits a tsunami on Javon Evans and damn near kills him because Javon Evans is a twig.
And
Uh,
where's Wade Barrett when you need him?
actually on commentary. So he
Oh, I
yelled
must have
out
not heard him say
tsunami.
it because
Yeah, he yelled out
wow, okay, thank
tsunami.
you.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Because here's the thing, Wade Barrett, there are okay, if I were ever to come up with the four horsemen of calling out finishers, two of them for sure are Corey Graves calling out Kinshasa and Wade Barrett calling out the tsunami. It just doesn't
yes.
feel right when anyone else says it.
Yeah, too bad Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't in this Rumble, huh? Number 17 is Ilya Dragunov, former US champion who came back actually in San Jose looking like fucking Thanos. And he actually won the title from Sami Zayn in that open challenge. And I was actually kind of kicking myself that I didn't go, mainly because, well, I mean, there's a very good reason I didn't go. I had another important thing to attend to that night, but I was like, damn, man, I could have seen Ilya take the belt, but he goes in there and he's stiff as fuck as he usually is. Cody Rhodes and him get into a scrap. This is a number 18 was bizarre, dude. Like, because this is the last name I would have expected in a Royal Rumble match right
Talk about
now.
a fucking time warp. La Parca.
Yeah.
Now, let me get something straight to everyone right now. Obviously, this isn't the original La Parca. This
No.
is a gimmick that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation in Mexico. Now, the original doesn't wrestle anymore, but I'm going to tell you right now, this gimmick will never die. And I never, I mean, ever thought I would see this in WWE. This is almost insane as seeing Jushin Thunder Liger. Wow, I actually said that. Jushin Thunder Liger wrestling in NXT.
Yeah, no, that's insane. But the Saudi crowd did not deserve this moment because they saw La Parca's name and there was absolutely no reaction. It was crickets. And I'm like, man, what a waste. I mean, this would have been a cool moment anywhere else except for Saudi Arabia. I don't know what it was. Number 19, another luchador, another Mexican wrestler, Dragon Lee. Really getting that representation involved. I love it.
You know
Um,
what's sad?
what's
It's
that?
really sad when you see Dragon Lee and you just go, oh, it's just Dragon Lee.
I know, right? Yeah, I was so hyped to see him at Santa Deliver when we
Like,
were at Mania weekend, and then
weren't we celebrating him getting post from AEW?
yeah, we were.
Um, Dragon Lee, or as I like to call him, good value Ray Fenix, because he's teaming with Penta on Raw. And it's like, Triple H is going, huh? Should I team you up with your brother? Or no. Dragon Lee, come here, come here. Come on. You look just like Fenix. Just team with him.
Anyway, number 20 is Logan Paul representing the Vision. And of course the fans don't like him. Nobody does. He goes in there and all the Vision members team up on Royce Keys and they throw his ass out of the ring. and everybody is sad. I'm sad. I wish Royce Keys could have lasted longer, but you know what?
He was in there for 10 minutes, but you know what? Makes him look strong that it took an entire faction to eliminate him.
He did eliminate a former world heavyweight champion as well, so there is that. Um, all the vision is in there. Number 21 is a returning LA
LA
Knight.
Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the vision took him out
I'm
about a
still
month
hanging on to
prior to
hope for this
this.
guy, man. Still hanging on to hope. It's like,
I have an idea. I have an idea, like once this is all said and done, like when we talk about the winner, that you might laugh at, but it involves LA Knight.
I'm hanging
Um,
on to hope for LA Knight, man. I have not given up on LA Knight, even though Triple H is desperately trying to make us all give up on him. I'm not
he
giving up on LA Knight.
he eliminates Theory by giving him a back body drop over the top to the floor. He hits Bronson Reed with butt force trauma, and he clotheslines the big fat Ozilla out of the ring all by himself.
One of
And
these days, we're
you
going to
know,
meet Bronson Reed, and I'm going to show him all this, and you better start running, boy.
I am gonna start running away, and then I'll talk to him about Sabrina Carpenter, and
Because
then we'll just start
let
gushing.
me tell you something, man.
He's big.
Good mic work. He checks his closet for Bronson Reed every night.
God
I
damn you!
put
I
the
almost
fear
spit
of
out my
God.
drink.
I put the fear of God in him
Oh,
when I brought up Big Bronson Reed, and he just immediately started darting around the room. We're like, wait, it's Big Bronson Reed here? And he left and he came back. He's like, sorry, guys, I had to check my closet for Big Bronson Reed.
no,
You sure he's not here, right?
he's a
You
little
sure?
too
Okay.
he's a little too down bad for Sabrina Carpenter.
I mean, Bronson Reed is known for wearing black suits.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You know who else is known for wearing black suits is Eric Bischoff, and he wrestled apparently a six-star match with Teddy Long at Survivor Series 2005, which in a match which Greg said sounds way less appealing than a colonoscopy. Could be
You're never going
wrong.
to let me live that down. You're never going to let my
No,
little bit of sarcasm down.
no,
Um,
I never will. As usual, this podcast has gone off the rails, and this time it's
Speaking
my
of
fault.
colonoscopies, I would rather have one of those than see this next entrant. It's Brock Lesnar, and I slumped. And the couch I was sitting on, I slumped all the way to the ground, and I just
Oh.
laid there for a minute, and I was able to utter out the words, "1 year, man. Can we just have 1 year where this guy isn't here?"
This man, you mean to tell me he's not a member of the Vision as Paul Heyman is walking him down? Is he too good for this stable?
I'm
Like,
over Brock Lesnar, man. I'm
I
fucking over him.
I really am too.
Like
Um,
shit. I wish I would have treasured those 2 years he wasn't here.
I wish I would have treasured him staring down with Obafemi. Um, but meanwhile, I'm just like, can we just have Obafemi destroy this man and get it over with? You
Like,
know?
I want to see Brock Lesnar stretchered out of the stadium by Obafemi. I want
Yes.
Obafemi to retire this man,
Ilya
and not like in a
Dragunov.
hee hee har har way like Gunther does. Like, I want Obafemi to put Lesnar in the dirt, come out on Raw the next night and say, "You're never going to see Brock Lesnar again because of me."
I want him to eat Brock Lesnar, cannibalize him.
I just,
I don't know.
I'm over
That's
it,
morbid.
man. I'm fucking
Me
over
too.
it, man.
Me too.
Number 23 is The Miz, and this made me laugh because it reminded me of the 2016 Royal Rumble where Brock Lesnar was on a tear. The Miz enters the Rumble. He immediately enters the ring, and then he rolls out of the ring, gets on commentary, and says, "Brock Lesnar better stop looking at me like that before I turn Suplex City into Mizney World." And that is
Disney
a
World.
goated Miz line right there. I don't care what anyone says.
I want
That
to.
is fucking goated.
I'm actually curious what Disney World would look like.
It's a nonstop loop of "I came to play" by Downstate. The rides would be the dirt sheet. Um,
Oh God.
you would watch a live staged version of what's his talk show called? He hasn't done it in ages.
Ms.
Miz
TV.
TV. Thank you. A segment that apparently Deadlock hates because one of the guys said the fact that we have Miz TV nowadays makes me fucking sick to my
When
stomach.
my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
There's probably a lot of TikToks. Um, probably a lot of reruns of The Real World. And he probably has you know how in Disneyland they have that little theater where they play the Steamboat Willie cartoons? He probably has one of those, but it's just a continuous loop of him beating John Cena at WrestleMania 27. And if I had to sit there and watch that on a continuous loop, I'd probably stick thumbtacks in my eyes.
You do realize that he only made that joke because they were in Orlando, the home of Disney World, right?
Yeah, I know, but it
Okay.
was great. It was fucking great.
Yeah, it was very apropos for the location, but Miz is very quickly disposed of. Lesnar and Obafemi are staring down a lot, you
No, he
know.
actually lost 7 minutes and he's
Oh, does
eliminated
he
by someone who
really?
has not entered yet. Yeah.
Oh shit. All right, well, never mind. Lesnar and Femi continue to stare down as Ray Fenix makes his way, escaping
Now
from the
you're
clutches of Tony Khan. Uh
now okay. Well, first of all, did he really? You know who he reminds me of? I know I make this comparison a lot. That scene in Hunchback where the old man escapes the cage. Oh no, and then he trips and immediately falls into the guillotine. That's Ray Fenix going from AEW to WWE
you were
because this
you,
man,
man, he can't catch a break, can he?
this
And
man lasted the Royal Rumble for 28 seconds before being disposed of by Brock Lesnar.
this poor man, he's gonna be the next Chavo Guerrero, I'm sure.
And then to make matters even fucking worse, there's a matchup I actually wouldn't mind seeing. Ilya Dragunov corners Lesnar and starts chopping the fuck out of him. And
Oh,
Lesnar just stands up, screams in his face,
no
and
sells
dumps
it.
him like yesterday's trash.
No sells Ilya Dragunov.
Could you imagine
Bullshit.
when did they wrestle? Oh, 2018, if that's how Brock Lesnar performed against Bryan Danielson.
He doesn't really care. He doesn't care anymore. He eliminates Obafemi. Obafemi lasted 39 minutes, and makes me very sad, obviously. Um, and it certainly feels like with how much they're staring down, that seems like the Mania match is Lesnar and Obafemi. Just get it the fuck over with and have Obafemi squash Lesnar in 2 minutes. Like, that's all I ask. Number 25 is main event Jey Uso, last year's Royal Rumble winner, who is now one half of the World Tag Team Champions with his brother. Nowhere to be found in this Rumble lineup, by the way, is Big Jim. Jay is doing his yeeting thing as he's going down the not even the aisle. He's going down the freaking concourse. So everybody's looking up in this direction. As Jey Uso is doing this, something happens that pissed a lot of people off on the internet. Cody Rhodes and LA Knight team up and they double clothesline Brock Lesnar out of the Royal Rumble while Jey Uso is making his entrance.
Good.
Now, yeah, I agree with Tomas. Good. Now, here's why I say that. I understand some people might be thinking, oh, why would you waste such a big elimination during Jey Uso's entrance? Why wouldn't you let Obafemi eliminate him?
Brock Lesnar's been here for 700 million fucking goddamn thousand years.
Yes, yes, there's that. And I will tell you this much. A man who is named 44 times in a sex trafficking lawsuit, which is still ongoing. It hasn't been settled yet. It is still ongoing. A man who is named so frequently in a lawsuit of that magnitude fucking deserves to be treated like an afterthought.
I'm over Lesnar. I'm
Yeah.
fucking over him. If he goes
So
one
let's move
year
on.
without having a big grandioso elimination, it's okay, guys. How much longer are we actually going to have Brock Lesnar? Take the allegations away. How much longer are we going to have Brock Lesnar? Two,
SummerSlam
3 years tops?
SummerSlam at the latest when it's in Minneapolis.
Like, that's a serious question I have for fans. Like, take everything away. What is it about Lesnar that you just want to see him forever? I've seen enough of him. He had that great fucking run in 2002 to 2004. He came back in 2012. I enjoyed the novelty, but he's been back for 14 years. I've seen everything this guy has to offer. Every big moment, every big matchup, I've seen it. I don't need to see anymore. Obafemi, fine. But after that, I don't. He's
Gunther.
wrestled everybody. He's wrestled everybody from fucking Goldberg all the way down to Ricochet. I've seen what this man can do.
They're waiting for Gunther to retire him at SummerSlam because Gunther has to retire everybody, you know? So,
I'll take
oh,
it. I love that Mortal Kombat meme where he's working his way up the tourney and he's going to get his fucking hands on the Bella Twins. Mark my fucking words.
he's gonna get his hands on Becky Lynch. because Becky
Oh
Lynch
yeah.
is going to retire soon.
No,
Okay.
Becky Lynch is gonna retire Gunther. She's gonna
Could
make
you
his
fucking
ass tap
imagine?
out.
Could you fucking imagine? So, of course, because this is Jey Uso's fucking gimmick and it's so stupid, after he eliminates The Miz, and no, it wasn't Jay that eliminated The Miz, it was number 26. So he looks at the crowd and he's like, we gotta run it back, Goose.
And I'm
We gotta
sitting
run
there
it back.
going,
I'm like, you've gotta
I'm
be shitting me. You've
I'm
gotta
fucking
be
sitting
shitting
here
me.
going, he gets in the ring, and yeah, as you say, he does that, and I'm thinking, no, don't fucking do it. Don't you fucking dare. And
I'm
then he runs
so
it
sick
back.
of this. You want to
And
talk
I
about
am very annoyed with it, but I'm not gonna lie. I turned to my friend, I just shrugged my shoulders and said, well, if you can't beat him, join him. And I fucking yeeted with him. It's like, okay,
during the Royal Rumble match?
so here's the thing. He needs to do it in the chamber, he needs to do it in Money in the Bank, and then he can retire the gimmick.
Just don't do it anymore. How about that? Just don't do it anymore.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just laughable at this point. Like, and I
Number,
know I defended Jey Uso so much, and to a
oh, me
certain
too.
extent, I still do. I still
Yeah.
like Jey Uso, but it's just, it's dumb. Why are you running it back in the match that you won last year
What
and
is,
you want to win again? Why are you running it back during War Games
think
when you
about
could
this.
die?
Think about this think about this from a script writing standpoint. Think about this from a storytelling standpoint. What is Jey Uso's character motivation when he decides to run it back?
To me, you know what that says?
What
It
does it
means
say?
I don't give a fuck about winning this match and going on to main event WrestleMania. I care about partying, have a good time. You know what this reminds me of? Jey Uso doing that reminds me of a college frat boy who would rather party and get drunk than study for his finals.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. That's a spot on analogy. So he's running it back. His music is playing. The countdown clock is going for number 26, by the way, while this is going on. Jey Uso salutes the crowd, and then out comes his cousin, Roman Reigns, at number 26. OTC 1. He very slowly takes 10 years to make it down the aisle, and he looks at his cousin and he's like, you want to run it back one more time? And then Jey Uso goes to run it back. Roman Reigns becomes my favorite wrestler when he decides to not have him run it back. Thankfully,
Yeah.
then Reigns finally tosses the Miz. There it is. Yeah, that's who tossed him. So Cody and Roman face off. I'm so fucking glad this is not the WrestleMania match because we got the fucking face off here. Are you fucking happy? Are you fucking happy? I don't need to see Cody and Roman face off ever again.
You know what?
Ever
This just
again.
kind of this hit me like a fucking rock. You know how off the record we've been talking about what Avengers Doomsday is going to be like if these teasers are true. You know, we had the perfect ending with Endgame and it kind of erases all that. If you do Cody and Reigns again, if WrestleMania 40 was Endgame, then doing the match again is Doomsday.
Yep.
Why are you going to ruin the perfect ending that you got?
Yep. Yep. So
So
they're probably gonna do it at WrestleMania 45 or something. I don't know
when they're both never mind. Anywho,
because they're
um,
desperate. Because they're
number
desperate.
27 is Ba. Ooh, the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu.
His music is
We
awesome. I know a lot of people have shit to say about Def Rebel, but yeah. At number 27, which is worn by Tariq Woolen of the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, by the
are
way.
you fucking done
Yeah,
yet?
Jacob Fatu walks down there and he's got some beef with Cody Rhodes, man. And like, you know, eh, good because he kind of accidentally helped Drew McIntyre become the WWE champion. So Cody Rhodes, of course, is gonna have some beef with this guy.
So
Um,
I this is the first time we've gotten to talk about this feud, and I've wanted to talk about it.
yeah,
So as we talked about before, in that three stages of hell match, Jacob Fatu interfered because he got attacked, writing him off of SmackDown a couple months ago, and he immediately goes for Drew McIntyre. But then he also targets Cody Rhodes because Fatu doesn't know who attacked him, and by doing that, he accidentally helped Drew McIntyre win the WWE Championship. That has sent Fatu and Cody on this warpath which led into Saturday Night's main event, and that match didn't even start. It ended in a big schmog, which was pretty cool. But here's my issue with the feud. How is Cody the babyface here? Now, hold on.
he's
Let
not.
me. So, because here's the thing. In the SmackDown leading to Saturday night's main event, Cody looks Fatu right in the face and says, you're making the same mistakes that landed you in jail.
Yeah.
I am looking at that from a casual standpoint, and I am looking at Cody Rhodes, the All American blue blood who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, has the fancy suits, has the tour bus, and he is talking down, who has pro wrestling in his blood. And he is talking down to a man who decided to become a pro wrestler when he was sitting in a jail cell.
Yeah.
Who's making who look like the good guy? Just
I
saying, just
I
throwing it
don't
out
know.
there.
I don't know, man. It's a very interesting dynamic here. And
Yeah,
it makes me
because
very, very happy to see Jacob Fatu kind of in the mix for the WWE Championship on SmackDown because that man fucking deserves it,
because
you
in
know?
today's day and age, in today's culture, talking down to somebody who has spent time behind bars doesn't make the person saying it look like the good guy.
No,
Without
no.
bringing up, today's the current events when we're talking about like, again, like I said, like the people in Fatu's position are viewed as the underdog.
hmm
They're a lot more relatable. You're
People, people like you don't get to be the world champion.
I mean, I want to go that far, but if you're like comparing, like that line really stuck with me. Cody saying you made the same mistakes or the same ones that landed you in jail. I'm like, that makes you look like a huge fucking prick, Cody.
Makes him look like a pretentious suit-wearing dickhead, you
Yeah,
know? Like, so I'm sorry. I mean, I know Cody's the quarterback, but you get, I would not be opposed to a heel turn at some point. I know
no,
Cody probably
same.
doesn't want to, but I am not opposed to a Cody heel turn. Uh,
But then
he,
again, we live in a day and age of pro wrestling where Cody's sitting at a press conference and says, "Oh yeah, guys, the heel turn's coming." I'm like, "Oh
yeah,
my god, is anything sacred?"
he
I
does get
don't
hit.
want,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Keep
I don't
going.
want fucking, I don't know. Imagine if Josh Brolin sat on a panel and said, "Oh yeah, Thanos is gonna get all the Infinity Stones and just snap everyone out of his existence." Like, I would sit there and just go, like, "Well, I'm not going to see the fucking movie anymore. You just told me the ending."
I
So
still would
bizarre.
probably go see it, but
It's
Cody
so
does
fucking
get hit
bizarre.
with he gets hit with a 1D from Jay and Roman. And at this point, there's also a fucking beauty of a Samoan drop by Jacob Fatu as he sends Javon Evans into freaking space. Like, oh my God, he got air with him. Because again, that boy be bouncy. Number 28 is last year's Iron Man from the Royal Rumble in Penta, another luchador, another Mexican wrestler running down. Him
And
mixing it
we're
up with
at 20,
Jacob
yeah,
Fatu. So
we're at 28, and then I'm like, okay, 29 and 30. I don't know who this could be.
I knew who the last two were, and immediately I was like, okay, I'm not going to set myself up for disappointment. Chris Jericho's not going to come out.
I mean, he was in the back of my mind, but I wasn't gonna be like the other people while I was watching. It's gonna be him. It's like, no, you're
Yeah,
setting yourself up for disappointment.
except
Number
at number 29, which is won by Josh Jobe of the Seattle Seahawks, who won the Super
fucking
Bowl in
hell,
the 49ers stadium, by the way.
fucking hell.
Number 29 is Randy Orton.
And I'm
Uh,
not gonna lie, I sat there and I went, I forgot about Randy Orton. And then my best friend had to bring up the worst fucking statistic in the world,
oh no.
and he is really good at predicting shit. So I got scared. We sat there and he goes, Randy Orton's won a Royal Rumble every 7 years. And I turned to him and I go, what? And he goes, he won it in '09. He won it in 2017.
Every 8 years.
It's okay, thank you, at 8 years. And he goes, it's been 8 years. And I go, why the fuck did you just say that? You could have just kept that shit to yourself. And he goes, I'm sorry, man. I just realized it.
Oh man, I'm sure you were having a meltdown once Randy Orton reached the final three. Like, good
Why
lord.
the fuck did you have to say that?
Cody Rhodes, by the way, knocks LA Knight out of the Royal Rumble pretty unceremoniously by this point with a disaster kick. And I'm sure everybody who is a member of the Yeah Revolution on Twitter is just sitting there with their hands on their palms and they're waiting. They're waiting for something to happen. They're waiting oh so patiently, just like I'm still waiting for Finn Balor's push
And
So
now here's the thing. I know you're going to say, oh, you saw this coming, but WWE has been so inconsistent with this, so it wasn't on my radar. Number 30 is Gunther. And I slumped in my chair and I just screamed, he can't keep getting away with this.
the man who retired AJ Styles earlier in the show has the potential to win the Royal Rumble match in the same night he retired a legend. So
Oh
it's
my God. And that's okay. Then I look at everybody who's in the ring and I'm scouting everybody. And then I just like throw my hands and I go, I'm not excited for any of these guys to win. I wasn't.
we had a very sweet moment of redemption though, because Javon Evans goes for an OG cutter on Randy Orton, who catches him in midair with an RKO. Because if you recall, when these two wrestled on an episode of NXT, they botched the spot, and both guys were beating themselves up so hard over it. But now they finally redeemed themselves. And Javon Evans was tossed out of the ring by the Legend Killer, and he lasted a good 45 minutes after entering at number 8. Um,
And you want to talk about an awesome full circle moment. I remember when that botch happened, somebody posted the comparison video of the last time how Randy Orton reacted to a botch, the infamous stupid, when Kofi Kingston botched a spot during their match and Randy Orton kicked him in the face and called him stupid. And then you go to that NXT match, Javon Evans is helped up by Randy Orton, and Evans is profusely apologizing to Orton saying, I'm
yeah,
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I fucked that up. And Orton pats him on the shoulder and says, hey, it happens.
it happens.
Like
So
full circle moment. It's never
beautiful,
too late to mature, guys.
beautiful symmetry. So Cody accidentally hits Randy with a Cody cutter when he was going for Gunther. And I'm like, oh, seeds are still being planted, even though they've been planted for like 2 years now. And I'm still fucking waiting for Randy to turn on Cody. Like,
Hey guys, remember when they were in Legacy together?
yep.
So
Do
fucking
you
over
remember there was a do you remember there was a third guy in there?
that. No,
No,
don't.
he's behind bars, so we're not supposed to remember him, right?
Money,
Uh,
money, 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 money.
Everybody's gonna pay. That's one of my favorite wrestling theme songs. It's so good. So Cody is thrown over the top by Gunther. Cody is skinning the cat, and he is draped by his torso over the top rope. When a wild Drew McIntyre appears and claymores Cody right in the temple, and Cody falls to the floor, and I'm like, there is the WrestleMania match right there. It's a Royal Rumble 2011 all over again when Miz
Yep.
threw John Cena over the top rope, and I'm like, there it is. I mean, that's gonna happen. That match is gonna
You
happen for
need
sure.
you need an X factor though, because how long have we been seeing Cody and McIntyre fight?
A
A
long time.
good the second half of 2025 going into 2026.
That's why you
Like,
add. That's why you add Jacob Fatu and make it a triple threat. Here's my theory that I was talking about. Have that triple threat at the Elimination Chamber.
okay, I'm
Hear
listening.
me out. Hear me out on this
I'm
one
listening.
because both Cody and Jacob are in that triple threat. Only one of them can make it into the chamber. So they somehow cost each other. Drew McIntyre doesn't want to face either one of them. Sami Zayn somehow sneaks away with the win. Sami enters the chamber. So the triple threat happens. You can do, whatever the hell you want. You could have Randy and Cody costing each other. Because let's be real here. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania does not need a world title. It doesn't. I'm just being real with you guys.
Okay, okay.
Cody Rhodes is at the point in his career where his match can still feel like a big deal and you don't need a title. So, Cody and Randy one on one. My pitch is to have Drew retain at the chamber and have LA Knight win the chamber and have him go on
Okay.
to challenge Drew. Because
Interesting.
if you look at LA Knight's t-shirt, the motto says unchosen. Chosen one versus unchosen for the belt. And everybody who is kind of on LA Knight's high horse is fucking happy. And he's finally getting a title shot. So I'm like, at WrestleMania of all places, that's
You
my
know what?
idea. That's my
That
pitch.
idea sounds like a pipe dream, but you would get zero complaints from me if it happened.
And I know it's probably not going to happen, but A man can dream. Let me dream. I pitched Sami Zayn to win the Royal Rumble match in this event, and obviously he challenged for the belt and he lost in convincing fashion. Um,
Now, okay, this is where I'm going to agree with you. Jay gets eliminated, Fatu gets eliminated, Penta gets eliminated, and this final four is sickening. It's Roman
yes.
Reigns, Randy Orton, Gunther, and Logan Paul.
One of these
And
things is not like the others.
and I was already not excited for a winner, but I'm going to say this right now. And you've heard me not go to lengths to defend Logan Paul, but to just like, kind of like give him a little bit of props. He is no longer a part timer. He has signed a full time contract with WWE. He is in
Good.
a mid card stable at best. He's not the leader of that stable. He is doing henchman duty. He has lost more matches than he has won. He is okay. With all of that in mind now, he is a full time WWE superstar. He is no longer the internet icon. What's the word I'm looking for? Just like featured guy. He's not the shit. The words on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it though.
He's no longer, as John Cena coined it, a backflipping YouTuber selling salt water.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's one way to say it. He's not. He's not. The featured guy
he's not
on the
filming.
on the featured match.
He's not filming dead bodies in Japan anymore.
I shit. What's the word I'm looking
You
for?
know,
He's not the. Oh my god, it's bugging. Like I'll give you an
yeah.
example. Like the celebrity match. Like,
The attraction.
thank you.
Yeah.
He's no longer the attraction. So I'm sorry, he had no business being in the final four.
Yeah.
Absolutely no business because they're still treating him like an attraction. Look at his spot
But
on
he's
the card.
not.
Not as a YouTuber, not as an entrepreneur, not as an online personality, as a full-time WWE superstar. Look at his
Yeah.
spot on the card. It does not scream Final Four.
And there's a
If this
lot of
was 2 years ago, sure, fine. He was still the attraction. He's not
yeah.
the attraction anymore.
There's a lot
He
of
is,
YouTubers who are wrestling now, so it's not really all that special that Logan
yeah,
Paul is wrestling anymore. So
he's not Logan Paul online celebrity in a WWE ring. He is Logan Paul WWE superstar. You
yeah.
know who else is doing something kind of similar, but is doing a lot better job of it? Paul Walter Hauser is wrestling in MLW right now. He was in the Battle Riot, which is MLW's version of the Royal Rumble, and he is just a wrestler on the card.
I thought you were about to say BDE for a second, who's wrestling for TNA now.
Oh no, no. Paul Walter Hauser, Hollywood actor, is in there wrestling with the boys,
Yes.
and they don't treat him like an attraction. If you didn't know who Paul Walter Hauser was and you watched that Battle Riot match, he looks like another guy on the roster.
Yeah.
Putting
And
in the
Paul Walter
work.
Hauser is funny as fuck. He's a good actor. So
And Logan, I was starting to give him props for putting in the work. But seeing that, it's like, you got to stop treating him like the attraction. You got it.
at the very least, he's not tweeting out offensive stuff supporting ICE or anything, unlike some people.
Yeah, we kind of have to give him props for that.
Yeah, I
Damian
do.
Priest did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the
Standing up
main
to his
thing.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the main thing that annoyed me about this Final Four. And just, I kind of just watched the rest of this. I was like, you know what? I know who I don't want to win, and I think he's going to win. So I kind of just sat back and I accepted it.
Yeah. So the final three, Randy Orton, Gunther, and Roman, as after Roman eliminates Logan Paul, Roman takes an RKO from Randy and almost damn near no sells the RKO in the grand scheme of things. Gunther eliminates Randy. I'm sure Tomas was relieved when Randy was eliminated because his friend's prediction was very wrong. So now we're down to Roman and Gunther, and the writing's on the wall. I'm like, I don't think Gunther's winning this. I mean, he
And
should. He should, because Gunther should never fucking lose another match until he loses the WWE Championship. But
so
sure
I'm
enough,
sitting there watching this and I'm going, Reigns or Gunther? And I knew the fate was sealed because I realized two things. Because I was putting the both in each world championship picture. The WWE championship picture, is rather full right now. You got Cody, you got McIntyre, you got Fatu, you got Zayn, a lot of different variables that they're trying to put together right now.
Yeah.
On the Raw side of things, this is what sealed it for me. We already saw CM Punk and Gunther at SummerSlam. There is zero reason to run that back right now,
Well,
especially in the main event of WrestleMania.
and
So
to your point, Roman Reigns spears Gunther, tosses him out, and Roman Reigns, for the second time in his career, wins the Royal Rumble, and with a much better reception than he got 11 years ago. People were very excited to see Roman win in the building. I was very meh. I'm fine with this. It's whatever. Roman Reigns,
so
he at this point in his career, he is still the tribal chief, very much carries himself off like a tyrant, but he's supposed to be cheered for, which is the odd part. And him in this tribal chief character without Paul Heyman, I said it on another podcast, it very much feels like he is a very stale Tostitos tortilla chip without any salsa or guacamole to go with it. Like,
agreed,
it's
agreed.
very, very bland. And I'm like, if you're gonna continue to insist that he plays this character, you need to fucking turn him heel. Like, that is, I think that's the only way this character works. And I am
So
firmly in that camp now. And to make matters even, well, I mean, not to make matters worse, because he did choose CM Punk. He will be challenging him for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, which all but seals Finn Balor's fate in the United Center. Poor guy. But CM Punk and Roman Reigns, to their credit, they did have a awesome promo to set up this match and to announce it. Roman Reigns basically looks Punk in the face and he says, "You went on your best friend's podcast and you made my life so much more difficult than it needed to be." Because CM Punk said one thing on that podcast where he was like, "Hey, you got to make him look really strong."
And I remember after he released that second podcast, every single one of my friends started turning on Roman Reigns because of CM Punk's comments.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody, it's like CM Punk was the Pied Piper because every single word that he said in that podcast, everyone was clinging on to. All of a
And
sudden,
look
out
what
of the
happened.
blue,
Look what
yeah,
happened. Roman Reigns was the most hated man at WrestleMania 31. Everybody
like,
was relieved when Seth Rollins cashed in.
yeah, like here's
And
another point.
that is all CM Punk's fault in
Punk
Roman's
being the
eyes.
Pied Piper. All of a sudden, out of the blue, when this was never mentioned before, every single person I knew, yeah, it should have been Chris Hero in the Shield, not Roman Reigns. I'm like, you are only saying that because CM Punk brought up the fact that he was his original choice. You
Yep.
never had that original thought in your life until CM Punk brought it up.
But I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with Punk and Reigns one-on-one if we didn't just see them together in the same WrestleMania main event the year before with Seth Rollins. Like, it does not feel fresh,
Now,
especially considering that they are running the same building back-to-back years. Like,
now I'm going to talk about this on the perspective of I've had a couple of weeks to let this sink in. Seeing that promo on Monday night, because if you would have asked my opinions right off the bat, I wasn't very happy. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns does absolutely nothing for me. I like them both as wrestlers, but you look at CM Punk in the ring now, he's definitely slowing down. Roman Reigns isn't exactly the highlight of the night on every card. And to me, it just looked like a very slow and boring main event. But now that I have some perspective in mind, two things that come to mind. Number one, it's how this Royal Rumble was just, you know, how it was, man, I'm really blanking on words. Just how the whole thing played out. I don't
yeah.
think we would have had such an obvious decision for the Rumble if Triple H fucking invested in new stars
Yep.
because there was nobody in the current field that looked like they could take that spot. It reminds me of like 10, 12 years ago when you really look at the roster, you really, really put a microscope on the roster between like 2010 to 2016. There was one, maybe two guys. John Cena, most importantly, and maybe Randy Orton. Maybe a throw a CM Punk in there. Maybe a throw yeah, Undertaker's still around. Yeah, Kane's still around. But there was nobody that was going to take the brass ring. You could
Right.
say all you want about Rusev, Bray Wyatt, uh, you
Claudio.
know, Claudio, Dolph
Um,
Ziggler. You could say whatever you want about those
Luke
guys.
Harper,
Nobody,
Brody Lee.
yeah, nobody was truly going to step up and take that brass ring. And that's not necessarily all because Vince was putting all of his chips on John Cena and nobody else. But you look at the current landscape here, and there is so much fucking talent on this roster. Triple H is not booking them to succeed. And I
No.
think there's no investment in the future. And that's, you procrastinate on your project on the night before, and you're not really left with much to work with. The only choice was Roman Reigns, and it really saddens me that the only choice was Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Now, I had no interest in this match, but I will say, if Roman Reigns and CM Punk can keep the build as hot as they did after that initial promo, then color me interested. But if it's just I'm the best in the world, acknowledge me, and doesn't it feel great to be alive on a Monday night? If it's just that for the next 6 weeks, I'm gonna put a fucking bullet through my brain.
You're
You got to
gonna
make this shit interesting.
I will jump off of something very tall if I hear CM Punk yell out, "It doesn't it feel great to be alive and insert city name here on a Monday night or what?"
Like if
Like,
it's just that, then fucking deep fry me in oil right now. But if they can keep every promo on the edge of my seat, if they can hold off putting a single finger on each other till like 2 weeks before Mania, and then they have the biggest fucking brawl of a lifetime, color me interested.
you know
But
what
if
else?
it's just boring ass shit week after week after week, then no, no thanks. Don't sign me up.
You know what else I realized watching this Royal Rumble match? Because all in all, I mean, I still had fun watching it, and it was a fine Royal Rumble, all things considered. Um, man, I miss John Cena. Oh
Yeah,
man, because that Royal Rumble match last year was amazing. Say what you will about Jey Uso winning over John Cena, but that final push with both guys at the very end, I was totally fine with either guy winning. This year, when they reached the final two, it was a very brief encounter between Roman and Gunther, and I just didn't really care that much, and
what
like
did I tell you?
you didn't have moments like John Cena looking at the ground like he's never seen it before, like, oh my god, if my feet hit that, I'm
And that's
eliminated.
why the
No.
women's rumble was more fun. That whole exchange on the apron. And what did I say during the John Cena retirement pod? WWE no longer has the break in case of emergency John Cena. Oh, ratings are down, bring
Nope.
back John Cena. Oh, John Cena, there's a writer's strike, so John Cena's not filming movies, bring back John Cena. Oh, we don't have an opponent for the SummerSlam, bring back John Cena. You can't do
They
that anymore.
they
It's
no
sink or swim.
longer they no longer have the John Cena trump card, if you
No,
will, especially considering the fact that, per reports, WrestleMania 42 ticket sales are not going as well as they would have liked. Jesus Christ, I wonder why. Maybe
I
you should stop charging extortion level prices for us, the
I'm
hardworking
thrilled.
fans, to
I'm
go,
fucking thrilled.
yeah, yeah,
I
good.
want to see the attendance no higher than 30,000. That would just thrill me to pieces.
Yeah,
That would just, oh my God, I would love nothing more.
yeah.
I would love absolutely nothing
I
more.
hope I hope they learn their lesson. I really do. Because
Um,
that's what you get, number one, for extorting your fans. And number two, that's also what you get for running the same city back to back. Because I
yeah,
guarantee you, if they stayed in New Orleans for 42, they would not be having this issue.
like
I
remember in
don't
the good old days, like since I was a kid, every year, oh my God, Toronto, oh my God, Seattle, oh my God, LA, oh my God, Chicago, Detroit, Orlando, Houston, uh, Phoenix, Atlanta,
Atlanta,
Miami,
Miami,
the
New
Manhattan,
Jersey.
New Orleans, um, San Jose, Dallas. Uh, sure, they went back to Orlando, but at least it was fresh enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, they went back to New Orleans, but it still thrived. Yeah, they went back to Jersey, it thrived.
they could have gone back to New
Tampa
Orleans this
Bay was
year.
fresh.
Yeah, New
Yeah,
Orleans. New Orleans would have been fresh this year. It's been 8 years since WrestleMania
yeah.
34. So,
Think of all the cities that haven't got a WrestleMania.
like London,
Yeah,
or like like
I'm sure a lot of us fans would be thrilled to watch
Minneapolis.
WrestleMania at noon.
Minneapolis, fucking
Mexico. There are
Denver,
stadiums in Mexico they could pack.
Denver, fucking, like I'm just trying to list off cities now. Like Cleveland. Cleveland
Yeah.
would be an interesting Mania spot, especially with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right there. Uh, you could argue, I mean, Boston with Gillette Stadium. You could argue,
But no, Saudi fucking Arabia. Saudi
that's
Arabia.
that's where you have to go for WrestleMania 43. Nashville. Nashville
Yeah.
apparently was promised WrestleMania 43, but no, TKO has to go to where the money is, and
I
Saudi
mean,
Arabia
shit.
will pay us an infinite amount of money.
I'm going to give you the hottest take in the world. I'm sitting here wondering what's worse, WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia or WrestleMania in the fucking Performance Center?
Saudi Arabia, for sure.
Because you think about that 2020 Mania, it was going to be in Tampa. The
Hmm.
Buccaneers Stadium is a beautiful stadium. I'm still mad that I don't know what that WrestleMania setup would have looked like.
Well, you saw it the next year.
But was it really? You know what I mean?
I
Like in its truest form, I have visions of what Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley would have looked like in that stadium. I have visions of what Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, what Edge versus Randy Orton, what John Cena versus The Fiend would have looked like in that stadium.
what Undertaker versus AJ Styles would look like in that stadium.
Yeah, and it's just
Man,
it just feels soulless. Absolutely soulless.
yeah.
There are fans that would be willing to make the trip to the UK, that would be willing to make the trip to Toronto.
Me,
I
me.
It's not plausible, and I'm sorry, it's not safe for US citizens to travel to Saudi Arabia.
No,
It's not.
no, it's not. Yeah, it's stupid, is what it is.
Especially female fans. It is not safe for female fans to travel to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So I think WWE, I think you need to get your head out of your own ass at some
Yeah.
point before everything really starts crumbling down. They never will. WWE's not going out of business, so don't get it twisted. But you've already kind of lost the plot in the last
Hmm.
year.
Yeah.
I think it's time that you face some harsh realities, and your shit actually can stink.
Oh,
You
it
know?
stinks a lot right now. It
It
stinks
does.
like you just fucking had Chipotle and Taco Bell mixed together.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah. And that shit's gnarly.
that feels like, a stomach explosion waiting to happen,
Yeah,
you know?
well, in the great words of a certain passed away wrestler, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. I hope that happens to WWE.
You gotta take a stand, you don't have
I am a real
to hide.
American.
Fight for the rights of every man. Oh, this podcast has gone off the rails. So yeah,
I don't think I could give the Royal Rumble higher than a 7.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm giving it. I mean, it
Like a solid
honestly
B.
structuring it. You know what this Rumble makes me think of quality wise is Royal Rumble 2003. Now,
Interesting.
it's the Rumble itself was fine enough. You had a lot of shit going on, but the best match on the card was the undercard match between
Yeah,
Angle and
Angle and
Benoit for the
Benoit.
belt. In this case,
Now, I've
AJ
also heard
Styles,
people
yeah, go ahead.
comparing McIntyre and Zayn to Bob Holly versus Brock Lesnar. I'm like, okay,
No,
calm the
no.
fuck down.
That match
Holly and
was
Lesnar got 7 minutes, and that was the definition of an obligation match
This match was
because
way better than Bob Holly and Brock
Lesnar
Lesnar.
broke fucking Bob's neck. They had to have that match.
Hmm.
But anywho,
Exactly.
sorry, continue what you were saying.
No, I was about to say AJ Styles and Gunther had the best fucking match on this show, and nothing else came close to it, including both Rumble matches and AJ Styles' final WWE match. Again, thank you to AJ for all the memories and all the entertainment. Uh, don't be surprised if that is on the best WWE matches of the year countdown list. And it's funny because I just kind of refreshed, and an hour ago, our good friend Greg Morgan of Good Mike Work Commentaries tweeted out, "Hey WWE, if WrestleMania's ticket sales are low, I have a suggestion: build a freaking Coliseum outside Caesar's Palace."
Yeah.
It's just
Oh
a
yeah.
picture. It's a picture of WrestleMania 9, and I'm like, dude, yes. I mean, they clearly didn't have a problem building a stadium in Saudi Arabia, so they will gladly do it again if ticket sales are not where they want it to be.
Oh.
So it looks like, you know,
And again, notice how WWE not a fucking peep about the attendance because it
nope,
was garbage. It
nope,
was fucking garbage.
yeah, exactly, because
Now, because
they're yeah,
here's the thing. I'm not. I mean, don't get it twisted. Not going to be xenophobic at all because I would never. The Saudi government is rich. The citizens of Saudi Arabia, I don't think they're rolling in the dough. So don't be expecting them to pay these. Nobody on this planet can afford these insane prices. I don't know how the people who attend these shows do.
except apparently for green shirt guy who is still sitting in the fucking front row of this show.
He misses all of his friends.
What the fuck
All of
does
his
that
friends
guy
gave
do
up
for a
on him.
living? Like, seriously, I am convinced that that man is actually a WWE employee and he's just planted. I
So
am
let me tell you
fucking
a fun
convinced.
story. Sign guy who still goes to some WWE shows. He mainly is like AEW and like indies now. They interviewed him in WWE Magazine. I want to say like in 2008. And well, first of all, they tried to bury him, which was fucked up. They tried to tell him like, so do you live in your mom's basement and that's how you can afford to go to all these shows? And Sign Guy explained, he says, ha ha ha, no, I actually work at Verizon and I pay for all of my tickets on my own. WWE has tried to offer me tickets and I have turned them down.
Wow.
So back in 2008, yeah, sure, the hardworking man could afford to do all this. Nowadays,
No.
okay, green shirt guy, we're never going to find out what his real name is and we're never going to find out what he does for a living because the minute that information gets leaked out, people are going to find him and they're going to jump his ass.
Yep. Well, I think that about wraps it up for the Royal Rumble podcast. Thank you so much if you guys have made it to this point through this marathon between Tomas and I. More
Yeah,
wrestling to talk
quick
about for
shout out,
sure.
real quick. Quick
Yeah.
plug. I am going to be at AEW Dynamite in Sacramento this Wednesday. Anybody's in the area, you recognize my voice. I know I haven't been on screen for a few months, but if you recognize my face from the other videos, feel free to come by, say what's up. I'm going to be riding solo. And one of my favorite things to do is meet random people at wrestling shows and just shoot the shit about wrestling for a few hours. So if you happen to be in the area, I'm going to be at Dynamite. So I haven't got my ticket yet, but getting a Dynamite ticket is a hell of a lot easier than getting a WWE ticket.
Yeah. The cheapest tickets to get into the San Jose Dynamite and Collision taping, which I will be attending. It's the go home event before Revolution in Los Angeles. I think the cheapest ticket is hovering around like 40, $50. WWE, I think you better go back to that and have families go back to your shows.
Yeah. I remember my brother he got me SmackDown tickets for my birthday back in 2015. One of my friends decided to join last second. He got his ticket in a fucking Walmart for $15. That's unheard of. Nowadays, $15 won't even get you a fucking chicken tender basket at the arena.
Yeah. Inflation, baby, in this economy. But
Oh.
yeah, if you see me at that San Jose show, feel free to say hi to me. I will definitely look forward to being there. Uh, and hit that subscribe button if you're new. Tap that thumbs up as well. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Enjoy all wrestling. Commence that back talk. Talk to you soon.